when you've gone this far, and the night is in bloom with honeysuckle perfume under that Dixie moon, and the restless pines sway in our minds beneath that Dixie moon. Ooh.
Mark Roberts for you with Dixie Moon. Let's see, 7:44, 32 degrees. The temperature is held at 32 degrees for the last 2 hours. So, but no snow currently, and the roads are clear. So, but if you get out, there may be some black ice in several places. So please be careful if you're out riding around. Let's see. Here's Terry Gore with Carolina Christmas. Terry Gore for you with Carolina Christmas. We're talking about the Cat Square Christmas Parade. I hate they're not having it. I just found out it's like a big tailgate party. But it's been canceled along with the Cherryville Parade. Once again, Terry Gore, Carolina Christmas for you. All right, we got to get this one on. With my apologies, some people. Here is Clarence Carter with Backdoor Santa by request.
They call me Backdoor Santa. I make my runs about the break of day. They call me Backdoor Santa. I make my runs about the break of day. Oh, oh, oh. I make all the little girls happy while the boys are out to play. Look at here. I ain't like old Saint Nick. He don't come but once a year. Oh, 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 oh. I ain't like old Saint Nick. He don't come but once a year. But look at here. I come running with my presents every time you call me dear. Look at here. I keep some change in my pocket in case the children at home. I give them a few pennies so that we can be alone. I leave the back door open so if anybody smells a mouse and would know Santa be in trouble if ain't no chimney in the house. They call me Backdoor Santa. I make my runs about the break of day. Look at here. I make all the little girls happy while the boys are out to play. That's what they call me, Backdoor Santa. That's what they call
Yeah, Clarence Carter, looky here.
Call me Backdoor Santa.
Backdoor Santa by request right here on the Boss.
I give 'em all the presents.
Oh, we got to take our last break.
They call me Backdoor
Yeah, that's what they call him, Backdoor Santa.
Santa. They call me that.
All right, we're going to take our break, and we'll be right back.
The Saturday, December 9th radio remote broadcast from the Campers Inn in Kings Mountain has been canceled due to the weather. However, it has been rescheduled for Saturday, December 30th. If you received a remote card in the mail, just hang on to it till Saturday, December 30th. And if you have a bicycle to donate to the Campers Inn Camping Out for Kids event, you may drop those off anytime next week. We appreciate your understanding. Again, the Saturday, December 9th remote broadcast at the Campers Inn in Kings Mountain has been rescheduled for Saturday, December 30th. Due to weather conditions, the Cat Square and Cherryville Christmas Parade set for Saturday, December 9th have been canceled. Again, the Cat Square and Cherryville Christmas Parades scheduled for Saturday, December 9th have been canceled. No makeup dates have been announced at this time. Hey, look, it's Gary Dellinger with Dellinger Electric. Gary, what's going on?
Hey, Calvin, just stopped by to see how the new jingle was coming along.
Well, as a matter of fact, we just finished it up. Want to hear it?
Oh, I can't wait.
Here we go.
When it comes to your wiring, you don't want to monkey around. Call Dellinger Electric. They're the best electricians in town.
Well, what do you think?
I don't know. I mean, it doesn't even give her phone number. And monkey around?
704-435-0705. They're the best electricians in town.
I don't have to pay for that. Do I?
It's Happy Honda Days at Renato Honda in Shelby. Come on in now. Renato Honda is a proud sponsor of Toys for Tots. Right now, you can get 0% financing on all 2017 models. Honda Accords as low as $299 a month. Honda Civics as low as $199 a month. And Honda Fits as low as $149 a month. See Renato Honda for all the details. And don't miss Happy Honda Days going on now at Renato Honda at Renato Auto Mall, 4423 East Dixon Boulevard in Shelby. Online at RenatoHonda.com.
Happy holidays.
You are not Santa Claus.
No, just one of his elves. Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas from Carolina Trust Bank on East Main Street in Lincoln. From R&M Motors on the Dallas-Cherryville Highway in Cherryville. And from Peak Resources on the Dallas-Cherryville Highway in Cherryville.
That's going to about do it for me for this edition of the original Saturday Morning Sea Cruise. I appreciate all the calls and, man, the request, Backdoor Santa. Anyway, well, we want to remind you, please be safe if you're out this afternoon, this evening. There may be some black ice. It's going to get down to like 23 tonight, so The snow will be melting probably a little bit today, but then with the water running across the road, that will refreeze. So please be careful. I want to see you back here next Saturday for next week's version of the original Saturday Morning Secrets. Hey, everybody have a great weekend, and if you get a chance, go out and dance tonight, but be careful and don't be drinking and driving. And we'll see you guys next week. All right, last song of the show. This is Ron David, who is actually the son of Clyde McFadder and Ruth Brown, with Caroline Shack version, but I Want Your Lovin'. See you guys. Have a great weekend.
that I was looking for someone to share my life. I thought that would be such a waste of time until I found you. I realized that I just can't disguise how I feel. So don't be surprised when I look in your eyes and reveal that I'm falling, and there's nothing I can do. That I'm falling, and it's all because of you. Yes, I'm falling, and no matter how I try, there is not a day that I can keep you from my mind. Don't tell me you don't know the way that I feel. Stop playing these games with my heart. Tell me that you're for real. 'Cause I'm falling, and there's nothing I can do. Said I'm falling, and it's all because of you. Yes, I'm falling, and no matter how I try, there is not a day that I can keep you from my mind. Don't tell me you don't know the way that I feel. Stop playing these games with my heart. Tell me that you're for real. 'Cause I'm falling, and there's nothing I can do. Said I'm falling.
Bessa John Hook here, and you're listening to The Boss, WOHS in Shelby, WLON in Lincolnton, your beach, oldies, and sports station.
And W268CU, Shelby.
Spanning 6 decades of sun, fun, and beach music classics. It's On the Beach with Charlie Brown.
That's where I wanna be.
Now from the Beach Music Hall of Fame, here's your host, Charlie Brown.
Welcome to On the Beach. Jewelers of Lexington, North Carolina. Bruce Hayes, the King of Diamonds, will help you select the right Christmas diamond to fit her finger and your budget.
Oh, my friend had asked me something they didn't understand. How I get all the women in the palm of my hand. And I told them, treat her like a lady. Treat her like the best you can do. You gotta treat her like a lady. She'll give in to you. Lord, look and see. You know what I mean. I know you heard that the woman soon take advantage of you. Let me tell you, my friend, that just ain't the substitute. So you oughta treat her like a lady. The best you can do. You gotta like a lady. Look and see. You know what I mean. Oh, you got to love her, tease her, but most of all, you got to please her. You got to hold her and want her and make her feel you always need her. You know a woman is sentimental and so easy to upset her. So make her feel that she's real, yeah, and she'll give you happiness. Whoa, strange as it seems, you know you can't treat a woman mean. So my friend, there you have it. I said it's the easy, simple way. If you fail to do this, don't blame her if she looks my way. 'Cause I'm gonna treat her like a lady, so affectionately. I'm gonna treat her like a lady. She'll give in to me, Lord, look and see. You know what I mean. Oh,
The Temptations are on the beach with the story of Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer.
You know, there's Dasher and Dancer and Prancer and Vixen, Comet and Cupid and Donner and Blitzen. Oh, but do you recall the most famous reindeer of all? Rudolph the red-nosed reindeer had a very shiny nose, and if you ever saw it, you would even say it glows. All of the other reindeer used to laugh and call him names. They never let poor Rudolph join in reindeer games. Then one foggy Christmas Eve, you know, Santa came to say, "Hey, Rudolph! You with your nose so bright, come on, come on, come on, come on, gotta see now." Then how the reindeer loved him as they shouted out with glee, "Hey, Rudolph the red-nosed reindeer, you go down in history." Then one foggy Christmas Eve, Santa came to say, "Hey, Rudolph! You with your nose so bright, come on, come on, come on, come on, gotta see now." Then how the reindeer loved him as they shouted out with glee, "Hey, Rudolph the red-nosed reindeer, you go down in history." Hey, Rudolph, don't you got my sleigh? Hey, Rudolph, don't you got my sleigh? Hey, Rudolph.
Bob Kuban and the It Men was a one-hit wonder group, and you don't have to wonder what that one song was. It's the On the Beach classic, The Cheater.
Haven't you heard about the guy known as the cheater?
The $1,000 Christmas cash giveaway. Register with no obligation to buy at Abernathy Chrysler Jeep Dodge, East Main Street in Lincoln, at Affinity Salon and Spa, West Warren Street in Shelby, at 7th Moon Boutique on East Main Street in Lincoln, at Ferguson's Ace Hardware, Highway 150 East in Cherryville, at the Falston Pharmacy, Highway 18 North in Falston, at Classic Lamp on Highway 180 North in Shelby, at the Captain's Cap Family Seafood Restaurant on Linwood Road in Gastonia, at Island Drugstore, downtown Stanley, at Mountain Holiday on West Mountain Street in Kings Mountain, at Terrell Camping Center on Highway 150 in Terrell, and at Designer Deals on East Marion Street in Shelby. The drawing will be held Friday, December 22nd at 8 a.m. on the Boston Big O Country. So register to win the $1,000 Christmas cash giveaway from the Boss, Carolina Country, the What's Up Shopper, and KTC Broadcasting. It's Happy Honda Days at Renato Honda in Shelby. Come on in now. Renato Honda is a proud sponsor of Toys for Tots. Right now, you can get 0% financing on all 2017 models. Honda Accords as low as $299 a month. Honda Civics as low as $199 a month. And Honda Fits as low as $149 a month. See Renato Honda for all the details. And don't miss Happy Honda Days going on now at Renato Honda at Renato Auto Mall, 4423 East Dixon Boulevard in Shelby. Online at RenatoHonda.com. Campers Inn in Kings Mountain presents our second annual holiday bike drive. Camping out for kids December 8th, 9th, and 10th. Campers Inn has partnered with the Kings Mountain Police Department to collect new bikes for the children in our community. They are hoping to collect from 150 to 200 new bikes, from toddlers to teens, and they do all the work. Just bring your unassembled bike, and they'll put it together for you. You can help make Christmas brighter for a child this year. Plan now to participate in the 2nd annual Camping Out for Kids Holiday Bike Drive, December 8th, 9th, and 10th at Campers Inn, Highway 161 South at I-85 in Kings Mountain.
And good morning, Saturday, snowy morning. Ron and the gang out and about, getting out here this morning. What a show here this morning they did, and thanks for Ron getting out in the weather. Also, thanks for Carson Docker in the house today. Terry Reinhardt's in the house today. Smoke, the mailman, Mr. Western Carolina, Terry. He sees 3 snowflakes, and through rain nor sleet nor snow or the threat of whatever the saying goes, Smoke doesn't make it here. And he's nicknamed after a race car driver. He's a Western Carolina fan, and I told him, Terry, he can't say nothing else about Appalachian ever again because they ain't Boone tough, are they?
Well, I'm gonna tell you what. Now, he's a Western Carolina man, and don't get me wrong. I know at Western you probably walk everywhere you're going to go, so maybe it was just too far for him to walk from Pumpkin Center up here.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, that's not from across campus at Coley.
I mean, I give him a lot of credit on that.
I told him to sit on a bag of mail in the mail truck with Mark and head on up here, and or I'll bring him back home, and we'll have a good time. But Smoke couldn't make it in.
Championship Saturday, man.
Yeah.
If everybody's out there today, be careful if you're out and about. Like Ron said, there may be some black ice out there, and Carson, you came down Dallas Cherryville Highway 279. You want to talk a little bit about it?
I mean, it seemed perfectly fine. There wasn't really anything ice-wise. It was, a little bit liquidy, but I mean, you can drive through liquid. It's and all it's going to do really is probably get warmer today. So, as long as it doesn't, melt then refreeze, this tonight, I think we'll be all right.
Terry, what about you up in your end a little bit?
That's the same way. It's just I give him a little bit of
Which roads
water.
were you coming down?
I come down 274 from Mitchum's Kitchen over that way, all the way into Cherryville, and I don't know, run. Listen to me, people. Don't get out there and go 55 and 60 and 70 mile an hour. I mean, I was probably running 45, and everything was fine. I mean, I didn't, because in case you do hit something, I understand you got to be able to try to stop. But, I mean, you're going to hit something real quick. If you hit ice, it's going to be real quick. Your car's going to grab on the other side.
Be very prepared for other drivers.
That's it. That's exactly
fallen limbs, animals out and about, lost animals, anything like that. If you have to slam on brakes or make a sudden turn, you think that road is all of a sudden fine, and all of a sudden, Terry, you're sliding in a ditch.
Yeah, and I do want to tell you, there's a squirrel out there this morning that saved his life. I'm coming down 274. He runs out.
We could have had squirrel for breakfast.
I'm telling you, but he runs out in front of a car.
Terry's in the Humane Society. What are you talking about?
Yeah, he runs out from under a car, and he's in the middle, and the car goes over him, and he comes out the other side. So he made.
I always wonder what goes through an animal's head when that happens.
Yeah, I'd not want to know myself.
Yeah, it's.
But he made it. He was fine.
Well, squirrels are agile, man.
Well, we're talking streaks today are over. Eli's streak is over. We've got the LeBron streak is over. We've got the Cat Square streak is over, Terry.
Oh man,
that hurts.
About that today, 44 years, and the mayor of Cat Square, Steve Johnson's got to be pretty.
That's
upset.
it.
Was it his decision? We got to fire the mayor? Is that the problem, Terry?
No, I don't believe it's all.
Yeah,
I think they got a committee.
Yeah.
Who decides on that? Yeah. But first time in 44 years for the Cat Square Parade. I know. Don't get me wrong. I mean, that's the second largest in North Carolina. In behind the Thanksgiving parade down in Charlotte.
Yeah.
But I mean, what do you say? I mean, are they going to reschedule it? Most of the time they do not. So we'll see. I mean, they'll have to.
Hopefully, maybe they can in Cat Square. Terry, when you think about, for them, it's not as necessarily, say in a downtown area where you've got businesses that you affect and timing of store closings and things like that. Maybe we can get something together in Cat Square before the end of the year. Maybe have a New Year's parade or something like that.
Yeah.
Hey, shooting the idea out there. If you listen up there,
Yeah.
New Year's at Cat Square parade. I think.
Well, that's if you can get them up, early on New Year's Day.
Yeah. But we're talking anytime, of course. 1 o'clock to it doesn't. Anytime on New Year's Day or even the day before New Year's Eve parade. Or how about that? A New Year's Eve parade to get the day started off right, or in the year. But anyway, we've got all kinds of sports to talk about today, guys. We've got high school football playoffs have been changed around a little bit today, Terry. We've got NFL to talk about. Panthers and Vikings tomorrow. You guys got a big matchup, Rams and Eagles, right, Carson?
Yeah, that's exactly right.
And then we've got college football bowl season getting started off. We've got our final four to discuss. And we'll see what Terry thinks about that. I haven't got any NC State text this week. I don't know.
I don't understand how come we did not make it in.
Into what?
Into the bowl series.
Oh, well.
Yeah. I mean,
it didn't.
We should have been there. If Clemson made it, State should have been there. They only beat us by 7.
Oh yeah. Right.
Well, I mean, Louisville's got a call for that, right?
Did they?
Not Louisville, Syracuse.
Yeah, Syracuse could say they're in.
Syracuse beat Clemson.
Yeah.
Syracuse the best orange.
Syracuse
State beat Syracuse. So
Syracuse beat Clemson, and then they just took the rest of the season off.
Syracuse the best orange team in North Carolina, ain't it, Terry? I mean, not North Carolina, ACC.
No, well, I guess.
Let me ask you something. Before we get started on that, Terry, answer me this. Who's the best conference in college football?
To me, it's the ACC.
This year?
ACC.
You got ACC?
Yes.
Carson, what you got?
I think, top to bottom ACC.
Okay. I was going to go Big Ten.
Well, I mean, you got to have somebody in the playoff, though, don't you?
Well, that was going to be my point.
Yeah.
Are there 3 teams not just as good or better than the ACC's top 3 teams?
SEC or ACC?
ACC.
I mean,
I don't know.
Who's your top 3 in the Big Ten? It's Ohio State, Wisconsin, and Penn State?
I guess, yeah.
So against the ACC's top 3 is going to be what? Miami, Clemson, and
North Carolina State. Or Virginia Tech.
That's the point I'm trying to get at. The last 2 years.
But I mean, look, who's the worst team in the Big Ten?
I don't know.
Probably Illinois.
Or Purdue, something like that. Worst team in the ACC is probably Syracuse,
North Carolina.
Well, I mean,
UNC
think about
maybe.
It. But when you start saying Syracuse and they beat Clemson,
well, guys, first of all, these conferences, that go 12, 14 deep, the bottom 5 or 6 teams aren't good. So you can look at that in the SEC too. We talk Vanderbilt.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Yeah, that's why I don't want to give it to.
I want to talk, top 5, 6 teams. I'm not talking about the whole 15 or whatever, because to my total understanding is a lot of them are really bad. The ACC got 11 teams in a bowl, and only 4 of them are above 500 in conference play.
Yeah, but listen to your bottom 4 that did not make it.
4 teams.
Listen to me.
Terry, 4 teams.
Syracuse.
11 bowls.
Listen to me. Syracuse.
4 of them above 500.
Syracuse, which beat Clemson.
They did.
Georgia Tech. Nobody wants to play Georgia Tech.
Nobody ever wants to play Georgia Tech.
North Carolina and Pittsburgh. Those are your teams.
And Pittsburgh's one of those teams that's just like you don't. It seems like they're going to put out 1 or 2 guys every year that's going to be a good NFL player, and that's who carries the team.
Did Pittsburgh lose to North Carolina? Yes,
I think so. Yeah.
All right, get that name out your mouth, Terry. 4 teams in the ACC were above 500. 11 bowl invites. I mean, that's just silly. That's the definition.
That's how bowls work, man.
That's the definition of participation awards.
Well, I want to show you something else about the ACC. Out of the 15 teams, 7 of them have losing records in bowl games.
It's not a football conference.
But now here's your deal.
That's what you got. A lot of teams. Somebody's got to lose.
Here you go. For y'all, name me the 7
All right, say it one more time.
That have losing records in bowl games.
In bowl games.
The 7 that have losing records overall. Like if they went to 3, they won 1 and lost 2. You know what I'm saying?
I don't want to say Syracuse because Syracuse, like historically, is pretty good.
Well, it's not North Carolina. They dominate in the bowls.
North Carolina is one of them.
What?
You're exactly right.
Me. That doesn't. They play in joke bowls half
North
the time,
Carolina is 14-19.
That's crazy.
In bowls.
It must have been bad the last few years. 'Cause I remember back in the 90s and stuff. They never lost. They won like how many straight Peach Bowls or something like that. They never lost in the bowl.
There's one of the 7.
Wake.
Wake Forest is not one of them.
Wow.
Huh.
All right, you got me. That was good.
Wake's either 3-8 or 11-0.
Yeah, one of those.
I'll throw another one out there.
Yeah,
we'll throw Duke. Duke's 4-8. They the lowest percentage.
I didn't know that Duke had ever made a bowl game.
Yeah.
I was
well, not in your life.
I was thinking they were 500. I think they were 0-0.
Way back, Duke was good at Duke was pretty good at football. Before they were good at basketball, they were good at football.
So there's
the
2 out of
60s,
5.
man.
Yeah, there's 2 out of 5. See, you're stunned. You had whoa.
State.
North Carolina State is not one of those.
I just said that out of spite. I'll be honest.
Miami got losing record.
Miami is not one of those.
They've never made the ACC. Was it the ACC? They haven't.
This was this is the first year they ever made it to the championship.
Terry, I don't care about ACC.
Here we go. Let me
football
do this.
Bad
Here
for
we
you
go
for this stat.
All right, Duke is 4-8, 33.3%. They're the least.
Mm-hmm.
Virginia is next at 7, 11, and 1, 36.8. Coming in next was North Carolina at 42.4, and then you go to Virginia Tech. It's 13-17 in bowl games.
That's kind of surprising.
43.3, and then you jump up to the next one in line, the Fighting Irish of Notre Dame. 47.2.
I didn't know we were counting Notre Dame.
I did.
Technically, they are.
I said 15.
They're technically unaffiliated.
They
but
are
they're,
not, but they are part of the ACC.
Yeah, exactly.
Next in line,
I would have guessed Virginia Tech. Beamer gets blown out every year in the bowls, it seems like.
Pittsburgh comes in next at 13-20 at 49.3. And then I maybe I shouldn't have put this team in it, but Louisville, they're 10-1. They're 50%.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. All right. Fair enough.
Well, they got a better argument to be in that conversation than Notre Dame did.
Who leads the ACC in overall winning percentage in bowl games?
Syracuse.
He wouldn't have looked all this stuff up if NC State wasn't going to look good in this, Carson. So
No,
I'm
you gotta get.
I'm going to go Wolfpack.
It's not. It's Wake Forest.
Wake Forest.
They are 7-4, 63.6% of winning. Then
Well, yeah, if you only go to 11 bowls, I mean, good
there you
Lord.
go. Florida State's next.
Yeah.
At 60.8, 28-16-2.
Are we counting the
Syracuse comes in number 3 at 15-9-1, 60%. The other teams that are above it: Georgia Tech 25-19, Boston College is 14-11, North Carolina State is 16-13-1, Clemson is 22-19, and Miami is 19-18 in bowl games.
All right. So, did they get the right 4, Terry?
Did they get the right 4? Here we go again with this, and the only problem I have until we do something about this
make it bigger.
is yeah, they have to make it bigger.
Yeah.
I'm with you. It's got to go to 8 or 16. I think 16 is a
16
fair number.
I think 16
for
would be good.
UCF.
Yeah.
I think that's the only way
Yeah.
you can make it fair, because you cannot sit here and tell me they're not one of the top 8 because you do not know. It's an opinion poll that you was in there with these other guys doing, and you cannot tell me that. So you got to go to 16 where that team has an opportunity.
Yeah, I mean, it's not that I don't think UCF, is
They're
going to
not
shock.
gonna
They're going to,
win.
yeah, that's what I'm saying. They're not going to shock the
There
world
you
and run
go.
the table.
They're not
but they
gonna
need a
win.
chance. I think you're right.
Let me say this real quick before. I think I know where Terry's about to go with this. First of all, we should know what the criteria is to get in, shouldn't we?
There we go. Do you have to win your bowl game to be part of it? Here we go again. This is what I hope happens, and this is just me and my own opinion. Where Ohio State got in it last year and got blown out.
Yeah.
I think in that poll room, every one of them guys was like, my God, man, we can't put Ohio State in it. Remember, they got blown out last year. It's not about what you did last year. It's are you one of the top 4 this year?
Whoa, now, Terry. Is that the question?
Well.
Is it the most deserving 4,
or
the best 4, or the most qualified 4? So, and the problem I have with it is that it changes every year. It's like NASCAR, race to race or year to year, to where, well, last year it meant this year it meant this. Well, how does the Big Ten feel? Think about this. The last 2 seasons, the Big Ten champion has not made the Final Four, which in and of itself you could argue is bad, but in their place has been a third-place team from a conference. One of them inside their own, this year from another one. So what's the point of even playing the Big Ten? Think about it. If Wisconsin said, we're not going to play the Big Ten championship, we refuse, they take the $1 million fine for the Big Ten, are they in the Final Four?
There you go.
They're undefeated, yeah.
Why? So that is the most ridiculous thing ever. The whole even if you take the Power 5, Terry, and say, well, let's say you don't have to win it to be qualified to get in. How about let's just try making your championship game. Don't be third in your conference, right? Yeah. Then you have 10 teams before you even go into championship, before you even go into the voting or whatever. They're going into the weekend and saying they've got a chance. They can get in, win or lose. Those are the qualified teams in the championship. Then you could say a 12-0 team getting beat in the conference championship, it could stay in there. But like I was saying, Terry, my biggest thing, and I guess yours is probably too, we don't know what the criteria is to get in.
Yeah.
And that the Big Ten champion, I don't know what to say to them. I really don't.
My whole deal is this is what I hope happens. Like I was going to say a minute ago, I hope Clemson beats the dogs off Alabama. To show that committee that you cannot stick a team in there that did not win their conference championship. That would be 2 years in a row. That would almost set that.
Yeah, I think
this happened.
I mean, I think they got 1 through 3 right. Georgia has beaten every team that they played. They lost to Auburn, but they came back and beat them in the SEC championship game. But really, though,
why isn't Georgia number 1?
Because of the.
Because of what? Look at it. Where was Auburn before Georgia just beat them? They were 2, right? So Georgia beat the team that beat them, and when they beat them, they were number 2. Georgia lost to the number 2 team, supposedly, which moved down to 7. So in all that, Georgia lost in the end to the number 7 team, and they beat them again. Clemson lost to who?
Yeah. But the thing
is
how long ago were the losses?
That matters now.
I'm just saying that's why.
Exactly.
The early losses are better for you because you've got more time to make up for it. But I think they got the top 3 right. But I mean, think about 4, 5, 6. Do you not think Alabama would beat Ohio State or Wisconsin?
That's not the question.
That's what you're thinking.
If the NFL did that, would Eli have a championship?
Well, this isn't the
NFL.
Would
Eli have never made the playoffs? But that's the question. See,
I agree.
Butler have been in the finals.
I hate that. I hate that. Yeah, Butler never would have played Duke.
Yeah.
So I hate the fact that we have to say, well, are they the best team? We don't know the 4 best teams in the NFL right now.
No, yeah.
We don't know the 4 best teams.
And that's what I'm saying. That's why you need.
sport.
That's why you need more of a playoff. That's why you don't need just 4.
Well,
that's
you
why
need rules first of all, as in, hey, you got to win this, and then
Well, if you've got 16 teams, you're going to get all the conference champions.
I know.
You're going to get.
I totally understand that, but they're not going to 16. 8 will probably be the limit they ever go to. So let's go. Let's say. I
mean, I'd be cool with 6. Quite honestly, you give the top 2 a bye.
But let's say if
so
they
you're saying USC does not deserve nothing.
No, hold on. Let's just give me a second.
That's a conference champion.
Let's say I know that's what I was about to say. Let's say the 5 conference champions this year were the only teams that qualified for it. Here's my rules: 5 just for 4 teams. I don't want to go to 8. I agree, or 16, but just for 4. Just say the 5 champions qualify, and if you're not one of the Power 5 and you're undefeated, you're getting the conversation. So this year you would have 6 teams in the room they voted on. You would still get the top 3 like you wanted, like they still got.
Yeah.
And then in that 4th spot, you're arguing USC, Ohio State, and UCF. Now, why would that change? Why would that ruin college football if that was the conversation? Instead of we're arguing Alabama, the 3rd place team, in Ohio State, when it should be Ohio State, USC, UCF. Now, which one of those 3 teams deserve that 4th spot? Because if you're going to tell me Clemson's number 1, does it matter who I put in 4? Aren't they supposed to win that game? So what does it matter? If Clemson's – because for 100 years you could tell me who the top teams was with all the confidence in the world. If you're going to tell me Clemson's won, it don't matter if I put App State at number 4. They're supposed to win that game anyway.
Clemson's supposed to win.
Yeah.
So what do they have to complain about? So my solution to fix the 4 team would be that. But they'll never do that because then Alabama has to win something.
Yeah. Well, I mean, UCF gave up, 60 points in their conference championship game. You're not going to tell me that they're really going to stand a chance against any of the other
No,
five
we're
teams.
not.
There's no way.
But that's not the. That's,
but what's
to me,
their record?
See, that's I guess
but
that's
at the same
question
time,
you have to ask: do college football want quote the 4 best teams that everyone thinks are the best teams? Because you got to remember what happens when we group think, or do they want the 4 most qualified teams? And I think that's the biggest problem that college football will ever have, because you've got a hard split on, because people say what Carson just said. Well, UCF would never beat Alabama. That may be true, but UCF qualified and Alabama didn't.
And Boise State did beat Oklahoma when everybody thought Boise State would not beat Oklahoma.
They didn't even beat
Oklahoma. Oklahoma beat Ohio State pretty convincingly at Ohio State.
Yeah.
No, I'm with you. I'm with you. Everything on Ohio State. You know, when they did it and they finally come out with it, I just think last year's Ohio State blowout was in their minds. We don't want to see that again, so don't put Ohio State back in it, because they're really not that good. They just barely beat Wisconsin, which was
and
an
they got
undefeated
blown out by
team.
31 at Iowa.
Yeah,
you can't do that. You can't lose by 31 to an unranked Iowa team and expect to get in. You just can't. Doesn't matter if you win your conference championship.
When you go back and look at them games, how many times they turned over the ball? Was it a fumble rooski?
Well, that's the thing. That's the thing about Ohio State
interceptions.
It's either you win by 30 or, like to say, you lose by 31 to Iowa. There's no real in between. They didn't win a lot of close games. I mean, the Penn State game was close.
If that's the case, then how come Syracuse is number 1? They lost to Syracuse. I mean, how come Clemson's number 1? Because they lost to Syracuse.
I mean, they lost to Syracuse in like week 6 or 7.
Georgia should be 1.
If you
by all means, Georgia was 1 until they got beat by, and then they beat the team that beat them.
Yeah, but they got beat by who?
Still be number 1.
Auburn.
Okay.
That's what I'm saying. No, I'm agreeing. That's what I'm saying. I think Georgia probably should be number 1, or at least, I mean, I don't know, man. You can't. It's hard to, you've got that much time in between the loss, and you can't blame the committee for, saying, like, you've done this since then.
How good do you think college football would be if they'd take that top 16? So we're going to go a whole month before we ever know anyway, and set up, you go from 16 to 8 to 4 to 2.
Oh, dude, I love that.
That would be the greatest thing for college football.
Every other level of football does a playoff. This is it. Division 3 does it. Division 2 does it.
Every other level of sports does it.
FCS does it.
Wait a minute. This is what else is different about college football than every other sport in the world. In every other sport in the world, the conference / division winners make the playoffs.
Yeah.
We don't in the NFL. We don't pick the 4 and then go, let's vote on the next one.
Yeah.
Vote one off. The Rams, you're off this year. We're putting in the cow. Think about it. If the NFL was like college football, the Cowboys would be in the playoffs every year, because somehow, some way, they would vote them the 6th seed.
For legacy.
If they were 8-8, they'd be like, this is the argument we'd have. Think about 8-8 every year. Well, the Cowboys did go 1-1 against the Giants, and the first loss was the second week of the season, and they beat them the 15th week of the season. So it's been so long since that first loss, and I know the Rams are 13-3, but my goodness, they beat Tennessee.
Yeah, they beat nobody.
They beat nobody this year. Arizona. So I think the Cowboys should get the 4 seed, and the Rams, they're not going to make the playoffs this year. That's how silly this is.
Yeah, no, I agree.
And college football does those two things that no other sport does. It's so aggravating sometimes.
It's like it's about the money or something, man.
Oh yeah, like they wouldn't. And what's funny about it, like they wouldn't make any money if they went to the playoffs.
You have more games. Why do you not?
You are going to have people watching every week, every Saturday. Mm-hmm. You're going to have big games.
Not
on
like
television.
they don't already do that through the whole season. I mean, why don't you just keep it going?
You could start at 12. Your next game starts at 3:30. Then 7, and then your last game would start at 10. With all them Western people out on that 10 o'clock game.
I think the voting and all this would be a lot better if the NCAA also had a rule to where you can't play down divisions anymore. Clemson and Alabama and all these teams, if you want to play when you play out of conference, you have to play a Power 5 conference or a UCF conference, wherever they're in. At least you shouldn't be playing
We shouldn't be playing Mercer.
And Western. You should not be playing Western
And
Carolina
Western, yeah.
and Gardner Webb. You should not be playing teams like that.
Especially not in like week 10 or 13.
No, you can't
like,
talk about I'm Alabama and you can't roll tide into Mercer.
Yeah, you can't. Yeah, you can't have the warm up game before the Iron Bowl. You can't go play Long Beach State or something.
Well, if y'all lose to Mercer this week, yeah.
Carolina beat Western this year by what, about 40 something?
Yeah, they did bad.
Alabama played Western last year.
Yeah,
right?
yeah,
So
they did.
I mean, if that was in the reason why they don't was the first thing when I started this whole conversation about was this morning. What was it about the bowl teams? Because if you 11 bowl invites, 4 of them are above 500. If they all played each other, there's going to be a lot more teams with losing records. Like, look at Alabama's record. Terry, what do we do? Count 7 wins that Nick Saban doesn't even have to show up and brush his teeth for before they start.
We could coach those
this
teams.
This year, Nick Saban went 4-1, tops, and that's given some. That's saying Mississippi State and other teams are really good. That's tough games that we said. Alabama may have played 4 games where Nick Saban may have had to call a one or 2 plays.
Yeah,
2 games tops this year where he had to be tough. So that's his season this year. You know, and it transfers over into basketball and stuff, too, where the Carolinas and Dukes play 15 games at home against nobody. And it's the same thing.
It's one of them things, and when you speaking of stuff like that, especially Alabama, I know a friend of mine who could care less about college football, but I could take him to Alabama, and he knows nothing about football, period, and he would coach that team to go 8-3 or 9-2.
Yeah. I mean, when you've got half an NFL team basically on your roster, you'll beat, like you say, you're gonna, if you've got an 11 game schedule and you don't know football, you'll get 7 or 8 wins.
What's funny about let's talk about real quick for my last point before we go to break about these who they play and stuff. How many's Coach Hayes just got 1,000, right?
Last year he did, yeah.
Boeheim's got 1,000. They took some away. Blah blah. Let's say out of 1,000 victories, they play how many a year? 30.
32, something like that. Yeah.
10 of them are absolute cupcakes.
Yeah.
So that's 1/3 of his wins. That's 300 wins you could take away from Dean Smith and Coach K and Boeheim and all them. Say 300 of your wins are just bull crap. Why are we counting these? And the same thing with the Sabans of the world, where more than half of his games are.
For some of the games.
Half of his wins, whatever they say his win total is, half of them.
And what's his record against, like Auburn teams that have 7 or 9 or more wins? He's like he's 0 for 7. Yeah, he's 0-7 against Auburn teams that have at least 9 wins.
Well, and another thing too, if you want to say that, then all them people from Alabama are going to say, but we dominated Clemson. They're like 13-4.
2 years ago.
I mean, I think Alabama won like what is it, a bunch in a row. I can't remember how many total, but it defeated them like 8 to 10 to 13 times in a row.
My thing to the Alabama people is, as far as this year goes, and if you wouldn't have made the playoffs, make the championship game. Don't lose to Auburn. Don't lose.
And that's
Auburn.
what I'm saying. He lost again to he beats Auburn when Auburn isn't that great.
Right.
But when Auburn's pretty good, he can't beat him.
Yeah.
Gus Malzahn's got his number.
All right, real quick, we got to get ready for a break. You guys, last minute, kind of who's your favorites? How do you think it's going to work out here in the Final Four while I get ready to go to break?
I mean, in the 1-4 game, Clemson, Alabama, I'll probably it's part 3 between them. And I think Dabo's figured Nick Saban out. He used to work for him. I think he's figured him out. I'm going to take Clemson in that one. Oklahoma, Georgia is probably going to be the most entertaining game out of the whole playoff, I think. National championship aside. That's a really high-powered Oklahoma offense, but they haven't played a defense as good as Georgia all year. And the Oklahoma secondary is iffy. I mean, Jake Fromm is a freshman. I'll take Georgia in that one, so I'm going to say Clemson, Georgia in the national championship game.
All righty. I mean, you're pretty smart this morning, Carson.
Hey, man,
because on my end, I hope Clemson demolishes Alabama just to put back
Prove
in
a
them
point,
people's, for the point. And on the other one, you said exactly what I was going to say, Oklahoma, and they might come out and win this thing.
They could. They definitely could.
But Georgia, to me, has a more defensive-minded football team, and I think they're going to stop Oklahoma, and it's going to be Clemson and Georgia for the national title.
So. All right, guys. Thank you for that. Clemson, Georgia. Who y'all got winning it then, Terry?
In that game, that's going to be real funny, but I'm telling you, I think Clemson's going to go back-to-back.
Yeah. Yeah, Tigers over Bulldogs.
Back-to-back. All right, guys, we'll be back in a few minutes on KTC Broadcasting. Now, y'all wouldn't be picking Clemson because we got Clemson basketball in Shelby's Gabe DeVoe coming up on next in a little bit. Did
you never know.
All right, we'll be back in a few minutes. KTC Broadcasting.
The tradition.
Every day I get to put those 4 letters across my chest.
The Blue Devils have scaled basketball's tallest mountain for the 5th time. With passion. Holds up for the 3. Got it!
All that matters is winning games. That's what Duke is built on.
Give it go. And he dunks it home. This is Duke basketball.
Oh, we don't make some noise this year.
Look away for the 2-hand chance.
Comes free from 3 and buries it dead on.
Follow the Blue Devils all season long on your home for Duke basketball. The Blue Devil IMG Sports Network.
You may not know this, but the best greens of the Carolinas are right here in Shelby and Cleveland County at the Riverbend YMCA Golf Course. People continue to rave about the condition of the greens. Russell Spangler has worked hard to make them tip-top shape for your round of golf. And course manager Phil Wallace invites you to come on by and play. Call for their special rates at 704-482-4286 or visit the website at riverbendymcagolf.com. Call for your tee time today.
There you go, Ann. Your new account is now open. Just one more little thing.
Here's your card.
What was that?
It's my new bank. Every time I turn around, I get hit with another fee.
You need to get an account at Carolina Federal Credit Union.
She's right.
Tired of getting hit by bank fees? Switch to Carolina Federal Credit Union today. Make those pains go away.
Here's your receipt.
And good morning, welcome back. Saturday Sports Talk. It's from Campers Inn. Well, not from Campers Inn, by Campers Inn.
Close enough.
In Kings Mountain. Today, the Ronaldo, I mean, not the broadcast today. I'm getting all mixed up in here looking at my schedule. The broadcast at Campers Inn today, it has been canceled today. So if anyone, for you folks listening at home, no broadcast today because of the weather. Also, no Cat Square parade because of the weather. No Cherryville parade today because of the weather. So Saturday has been canceled. We're the only thing that was. Us three and Ron are the only thing that Saturday didn't cancel out, it seems like. But we got our breakfast at Mitchum's Kitchen. Terry, they're open.
Yes,
right?
they are.
I had egg and cheese biscuit this morning. Carson, what'd you have?
Liver mush, egg, and cheese biscuit.
Liver mush, egg, and cheese. And then Terry brought in
the gravy biscuit with a side of bologna.
And we just want to apologize to the mayor of Cat Square, Steve Johnson. Steve Johnson doesn't get to perform his duties today, Terry, for the first time in 44 years.
Man, that's a 7-figure number he just lost out on today. Yeah, I mean,
7 figures of what?
Yeah. But Steve, I hate that. I mean, you could go down as you'll be known forever, man. That's the first time.
Yeah, the first
canceled.
one to miss. Yeah.
He ought, if he's listening, he ought to write up here and talk to us, and we'll put him on the.
Yeah, thank you.
Put him on the show. Terry's it's a championship weekend, North Carolina High School Football Association. And do you have you got some news and notes on that? I'm trying to pull up the
that's good.
Times
Me and Carson will go over what I got listed here. And in the 1A championship today, it will be North Duplin out of the Carolina 1A conference. They finished first in that conference. They are 14-0, going against Cherokee out of the Smoky Mountain 1A conference. They finished first in that conference. They are 13-1. North Duplin comes in with one state championship in 1972, 2 runners-ups in 1975 and 2007. There's also won 12 conference championships. Cherokee has no state titles, only 1 runner-up back in 1978 and 8 conference championships. But, Carson, what do you see in this one? North Duplin 14-0 against Cherokee at 13-1.
I mean, the best way I can sort of basically explain it to people around here. I mean, Cherokee is the team that beat Thomas Jefferson. Thomas Jefferson was the co-champion in the Southern Piedmont 1A with Bessemer City this year. Thomas Jefferson had a lot of weapons on offense, and Cherokee shut them down and was able to put points on them pretty easily. They won their last game against Mitchell 42-28. North Duplin won against Plymouth 12-6. I'm going to go Cherokee in this one. They just seem like a more physical team. They're going to run it a lot. They're going to control the clock. I'm going to say Cherokee 21, North Dublin 7.
All righty, as we move on to the 1AA Conference Championship, it will be Tarboro 14-0 out of the Coastal Plains 1A Conference. They finished first in that conference against Mount Airy out of the Northwest 1A Conference. They also finished first in that conference at 14-0. For Tarboro, 4 state championships in 1984, 2009, 10, and 11, 3 runners-ups in 1998, 2008, and 2012, and 25 conference championships, going against Mount Airy, who has 1 state championship back in 2008, 1 runner-up in 2009, and 17 conference championships. Carlson, what are you looking at in this one?
Mount Airy ended Bessemer City's season this year. As you talked about, they've got some pretty recent success, but Tarboro, man, it just seems like they run through whoever they play. They beat John Holmes 50-7 in that division or regional final. I'm going to go Tarboro in this one. I'm going to say 35-14.
And, you know, you speaking of Tarboro, and people say, what type of team is this? Scoring-wise, now I want y'all people to listen to this. They scored 70 once. They scored 60 4 times, 50 twice, and 46 times. The most points they gave up all year was 14.
Whew.
To Pamlico, now here's the problem with this.
Yeah.
They gave up 14 to Pamlico, but they beat them 71-14. So who gave up to 14? Was it the second string or the third
string? Maybe the JVs that made it,
That's
made the
what
trip.
I'm saying.
Yeah.
They had 6 shutouts and held 12 teams to under 10 points.
Who was that?
Tarboro.
That's not bad. They don't even need Todd Gurley for that.
Hey, man.
That's exactly right.
Helps, though.
In the 2A conference, as we move on, it'll be Wallace Rose Hill finished 13-1 out of the East Central 2A conference. They finished second in that conference. So remember that. They finished second.
Yeah.
Against Reedsville, who is 15-0 out of the Mid-State 2A conference. They finished first. But as you look, this to me is the most dominant state championship game that you can find today.
Yeah.
As you come in here, Wallace Rose Hill has 6 state championships, 94, 2009, 10, 14, 15, and 16. 3 runners-ups in 2001, 4, and 5. 17 conference championships, going against a Reedsville team who has 6 state championships in this span of 2002, 3, 7, 8, 9, and 16. And if you continue to count all those championships, it's 19 total. They've got 1 runner-up in 2005 and 16 conference championships. But if you go overall records, and I went back to 1972, Wallace Rose Hill is 416, 151 and 3. Reedsville is 427, 147 and 1. What a game this should be. What do you think?
Wallace Rose Hills, they beat, who was that? Southwest Onslow 49-7. Reedsville, obviously, as you talked about, undefeated. These are 2 defending state champions facing off, right?
Yes.
Man, that's Wallace Rose Hill. I think I'm going to pick Wallace Rose Hill over Reedsville, give them their first loss of the year, but I think it'll be really close. I think it'll be something like 35-34.
And you're speaking of that, and as we come into today, there's only 3 teams left that can win back-to-back state championships. Wallace Rose Hill and Reedsville play each other.
Yeah.
And Wake Forest in the 4AA is the only other team.
Wow.
But when we spoke of Wallace Rose Hill, who did they finish second behind? They are in the 2AA championship, East Duplin. East Duplin is out of the East Central 2A Conference. They finished first at 15-0, and they'll be up against High Brighton, 15-0 out of the Northwestern Foothills 2A. They finished first out of that conference. East Duplin has no state titles, no runner-ups, 10 conference championships, against a High Brighton team who has no state championships, no runner-ups, and 7 conference championships. What do you see out of this?
Listen, man. I've sat here and listened to you and Shannon dog High Brighton all year. They're not going to do anything. They don't play anybody, blah, blah, blah. They beat Shelby 19-7. East Duplin beat North Davidson by 10, 38-28. I'm going to go with High Brighton. They're going to run the ball. They're going to control the clock. They're going to play physical defense. High Brighton wins this one. I'm going to say 21-14.
All right, out of this, other notes that you can know, East Duplin did beat Wallace Rose Hill 14-12. And if you want to go to High Brighton side, they've played 15 games, held 13 teams to less than 10 points. As we move on to the 3A bracket today, it will be Havelock, 14-1 out of the Coastal 3A Conference. They finished first in that conference against Charlotte Catholic, 15-0 out of the Southern Carolina 3A Conference. They finished first in that conference. Havelock comes in with 3 state championships in 2011, 12, and 13, 3 runner-ups in 75, 1986, and 2014, and 25 conference championships against a Charlotte Catholic team who has 4 state championships in 2006, 7, 12, and 14, 4 runners-up in 1977, 2004, 2005, 2015, and they have 23 conference championships. What do you get out of this one?
Catholic's a team that's going to put up a lot of points on the board. Played pretty good defense against the J.M. Robinson team that scored almost 50 against Kings Mountain. Havelock had a little bit more of an impressive win in their regional final, but that being said, they have not faced anybody like Catholic all year. I'm going to take Catholic 35-14. Last
time these two teams played was in a championship game, and Havelock went crazy running up to score. T.J. Logan was when in the backfield.
That was when they had Jim Bob Bryant, though, wasn't it?
Yeah. And, man, he run like 80-some yards on a play at the very end to put him over 500 yards rushing
Yeah, I remember that.
against them. But speaking of them, been since 1972, Havelock, and we speak of what we had in between Reesville and Wallace Rose Hill, Havelock 416, 141 and 2. Charlotte Catholic 416, 158 and 2 over that span. In the 3AA championship, New Hanover at 14-1, the Mid-Eastern 3A, 4A conference. They finished second in that conference. Will face AC Reynolds, a 14-1 team out of the Western Mountain Athletic 3A conference. They did finish first. New Hanover comes in here with no state titles and 8 conference championships against an AC Reynolds team who has 3 state championships in 99, 2002, 2009, 1 runner-up finish in 1989, and 23 conference championships. Carson, what do you get on this one?
Well, you know, that Eastern Guilford New Hanover game was pretty good. That New Hanover only winning by 32-29. I think Sun Valley, that number 12 seed, I think that showed you a little bit what was wrong with the Max Preps because they made it a long run, only lose by 3 to AC Reynolds. But I think AC Reynolds, those Mountain Boys, they'll just be a little too physical. I think they come out and win this one 21-14.
All right, and speaking of New Hanover's only loss this year, it was to Hoggard, who was knocked out last week.
Against Scotland.
Yeah. And as we go to the 4A bracket, and speaking of Scotland County,
it is, yeah.
There they are at 12-1 out of the Sand Hills 4A conference. They finished first, and they will be matched up against Harding out of the South Meck 4A conference. They finished first in that conference. For Scotland, they've had 1 state championship in 2011, 1 runner-up finish in 2013, 12 conference championships against a Harding team who has no state championships, 1 runner-up finish way back in 1987 when Tommy Knox was there, and 5 conference championships on their bandwagon. And they come into this team. Scotland's only loss this year was to Mallard Creek, a 28-21 loss. How do you look at this game?
I think, you know, Scotland, it comes to this time of year where, you know, you want to see them play Charlotte schools. They're going to be without their Georgia commit Zaire White. Harding, I feel like Harding hasn't been good in a really long time. I mean, you'd want to see them win, but I think Scotland's just got too much. They're too deep. I'll take Scotland in this one, 28-21.
And more notes on this game. Ever since September the 8th, in the games that they have played since then, they have scored 40 points 4 times, 50 points twice, 60 points 4 times, and 70 points once.
And that 70 points was in the playoffs.
Yes, it was.
Yeah, I remember that.
So very dominant ever since then, especially offensive-wise, even without the guy
going
to Georgia.
Yeah.
I got Terry, you back. Oh, you got another one?
I got one
last one.
Okay.
Then we'll go.
Real quick, Scotland versus Harding University does not sound like a high school football game.
It doesn't.
It sounds like a World Cup friendly.
It does.
Go ahead, Terry.
All righty. In the 4AA bracket, we will have Wake Forest, 14-0, defending state champions, and out of the Northern Athletic Foothills 4A conference. Finished first in that conference against Mallard Creek, 14-0 out of the IMEC 4A conference. They finished first. Wake Forest comes in here with 1 state championship, which was last year, 3 state runner-ups in 2010, 13, and 14, and 10 conference championships against Mallard Creek, who has been there only 3 times, and they have won every time they've went. 3 state championships, 2013, 14, and 15, and 8 conference championships coming into this one. Carson, what are you looking at on this one?
I think this is one of those, those good 4A matchups between Charlotte and Raleigh. Man, I think I'm going to go Wake Forest on this one. I'll say 28-21 in that one.
All right, on this one also, Wake Forest is the defending 7-on-7 champions back in the summer. And Mallard Creek, ever since they opened up, is 119-31 overall since they started playing football at Mallard Creek.
All right, Terry, I've got the list of games here. Of course, they're not then I'm gonna tell you the TV schedule. Okay, first of all, these are the audio radio schedules and the times for today, and they're not in time order, any particular order other than 1A, 2A. I'm gonna go over what they got here. So 1A state championship, Cherokee at North Duplin is 12 o'clock. 1AA state championship, Mount Airy versus Tarboro is 4 p.m. today. 2A state championship, Wallace Rose Hill versus Reedsville is 7 p.m. today. East Duplin versus High Brighton is at 3 p.m. today. The 3A state championship, Havelock versus Charlotte Catholic is at 3 p.m. 3AA state championship game, New Hanover versus AC Reynolds at 7 p.m. The 4A state championship game, Scotland versus Harding University is at 4 p.m. And the 4AA state championship game, Wake Forest versus Mallard Creek, 12 p.m. I'm looking at the list of radio requests for these games. We've got 3, 2, 2, 1 ESPN Radio New Bern for the 3A. Guys, the 4AA state championship game, Wake Forest and Mallard Creek does not have radio coverage. You hear that, Terry?
I'm listening to you.
Wake Forest, the biggest one in the state, does not have radio coverage. It does have TV coverage. TV coverage today is 3 o'clock today. Now, this is local TV, folks, on channel 18.
Point 1,
yeah. Point 2, and point 3.
It is.
On 18.1, 3 o'clock, Wake Forest.
That's regular television.
Regular television. 3 o'clock, Wake Forest versus Mallard Creek, 18.1. 3 o'clock, East Duplin versus High Brighton, 18.2. 3 o'clock, Havelock versus Charlotte Catholic, 18.3. So on channel 18, you almost got the red zone channel.
You can switch. That's it. Back and forth.
You got the red zone channel on WCCB today. 7 o'clock, Scotland versus Harding University on 18.1, and Wallace Road Hill versus Reedsville, 18.2. Terry, and finally, we lost a 17-year streak also this year, didn't we?
7.
KTC Broadcasting?
Oh, yeah. And Calvin said he's going to put that in the What's Up Shopper coming up, because I did a survey ever since they started. Well, after they probably got to it in about 3 or 4 years, and I kept up with everybody from then on. But, 17 years that we've had one of our county teams. And I don't speak of county, and the reason I do this, because I do take Catawba as part of our group. Catawba, Cleveland, Gaston, and Lincoln. Mm-hmm. Because we have teams that play in Catawba County that have made the state championship, and we see them every year.
Yeah.
It's not like High Brighton. High Brighton's outside of us.
Just a little bit,
congratulations to them on being there.
Yeah, definitely.
But as far as everything else, we had 17 years from 2000 all the way through 2016. We've had a team that's been in the state championship, whether they won it or lost it, but we've had a team there that we have covered. And it has been fantastic for me, for the people that has been in here with me, Carson and you and Shannon and everybody else that has come along. And maybe we can blame this on Shannon.
That's what it is.
His first year here.
That's what it is.
Stopped.
You can't blame it on me. I've been here before.
Man, Shannon.
It's all Shannon. Him and that bald head, man, it's just a little too shiny. That's
no, we're kidding, man. We appreciate what you do, buddy. But, it's been one of them things that I have enjoyed. And that's like last night. I mean, we did not have a show. It's the first time in 17 years that we have not. So congratulations to the guys that are there. Mm-hmm. Congratulations to High Brighton. We hope you bring back a state championship. But it's just been a remarkable ride.
Thanks for ruining it, High Brighton.
It's because they picked against them all year, man. They didn't. Shannon and Terry did not want to believe they were real, man.
Their fault.
That's
Well, I tell you what, I was at the game. Shelby, it was 19-7. That game could have been either way, 19-7.
Yeah.
The blocked kick, tackle at the goal line. That was just one of the most ridiculous, exciting high to low, kind of. I don't know. You didn't know how to feel as a non-fan. I wouldn't know how to feel as a Shelby fan. Dax Hollyfield getting tackled there at the 2. But that play alone was just ridiculously amazing. And then the next play they scored and they called a chop block and called the touchdown.
Yeah, think of that.
I mean,
think of that.
Back to
back. That's a swing.
Yeah, back to back.
That ended the game, right? Well, it didn't end the game, but now that you go back and look at it,
it did.
That totally swung the game to High Brighton. Those 2 plays right there back to back. So just nuts. All within 2 yards, Terry.
Yeah, and think of what we have seen. I mean, we have went through the Surratt brothers coming through East Lincoln to Lincoln and C.J. Wilson being down there to everything that Crest has thrown out there for us, Shelby's thrown out there for us.
Jonathan Bullard,
that's what I'm saying. When you start naming players and the stuff that we say, even Shelby going 16, last year unbeaten and never trailing in a whole year.
Yeah.
You know,
that's
and
crazy.
Till one game this year that you're playing High Brighton, and how many people would have thought Shelby scores off of their first play from scrimmage,
and that's it.
And that's it.
Yeah.
That was all they scored in a whole ball game. And, you know, nobody could have told me that was going to happen. Did I think it was going to be low scoring? Yes. But what I thought when Shelby scored first, they'd not score again, no way I would have been able to tell you that.
Yeah. All right, guys, we got a quick caller on the line here. Coach Pruitt is on the line. He want to talk a little bit about his players, Terry. The All Conference has just been announced in the Southern Piedmont 1A. Coach Pruitt, you there?
Yeah, I'm there. Hey, Kevin, how you doing?
Good. Well, tell us about those All-Conference Cherryville Ironmen.
We had 5 All-Conference players, and we do have our sports banquet tomorrow, weather permitting. I guess we'll make a decision on that later today, see how this next round of snow goes. But we had 5 players. We had 1 senior on the list, Ben DeVinny. He was All-Conference last year. Quay Florine, who also was our specialist of the year in the conference for his returning of the kick ability, so to speak. So he was our specialist of the year in the conference. And then the other 3 were Chapel Moss, Sean Kostwick, and Jace Britton. And those last 4 I mentioned all will be back next year. So a good group of rising seniors returning, and we'll say farewell to our seniors from this year tomorrow at our sports banquet, and appreciate all they did for our football program over the last couple of years. They were a good group. There's a core group of 5 or 6 kids there who played football throughout their career, and they gave a lot of time and energy to our program, so we appreciate that. But one thing people don't know about this will be exciting for the coming season. Me and Coach Boone got together and talked with our powers that be a little bit. Next year's Cherryville Bessemer City games will be known as the Battle of the Belt games. Teams do all these little turnover chain things and these belts that they have. We had a belt that we used last year in our off season, and I spoke to Larry and them, and I said, you know what? It might be neat if we just exchange this belt. Y'all beat us twice this year, and you're conference champion, so you're the champion. Y'all keep the belt, do with it what you want. So they got it around Thanksgiving time, took the D and the C off of it, and put the Bessemer City Yellow Jacket logo on it. So hopefully that'll be a motivation for our programs as we get ready for the coming season, and both of us should have pretty good teams next year.
Well, Coach, I'm going to tell you, what you have done over has been fantastic as far as Cherryville, even as far as over to West Lincoln and around the counties, because we feel like you're heading in a positive direction. As coming up, how many seniors did you lose this year and that you have to replace that's going to be a big part of your squad for next year?
We had a senior class of 12. Like I said, we had about 6 who played throughout their career. And then we had some guys who were injured through the year that were really contributing a lot, and then we lost them. So, you know, we had about 6 to 8 guys who really contributed to our program. But we have 20 returning junior or rising seniors next year, and we have 24 returning lettermen. And we also have a couple guys who did not play this year in our program and a transfer from Burns who I think can really fit into our program nicely. So we're looking at a senior class next year of 23 kids, which for a 1A school is pretty special, I think.
Yeah, Coach. You talk about guys coming back. You talk about Quay Florine and Chapel Moss. Those are the 2 guys. You know, I imagine that are sort of going to be the centerpiece for that offense next year. And I've seen Quay Florine. I've seen him do some pretty special things in that return game. But you know, you talk about him as a receiver. Do you guys envision using him a little bit more in that passing game next year?
Well, I think so. This year, you know, at the beginning of the year, we were featuring Matt Kane in that area, and then he hurt himself before the Thomas Jefferson game. He had 4 touchdowns in the last 2 games he played, 2 at West Lincoln and 2 against Drone. Next year, Matt may be our quarterback. We have plans to move him there. He was our middle school quarterback, And I think he's excited about that opportunity. And, of course, Dylan Harden coming back, who played JV and also stepped into our varsity. So we have some kids that we feel like we can plug into the area of skill. And, of course, Quay getting on the field and getting the ball in his hands is an important thing because he did catch the ball well for us at the end of the year. He was our go-to guy for sure.
Well, I'm going to mention one other thing. You're speaking of your belt that y'all going to do, and you said it's going to be Battle of the Belt, right?
Battle of the Belt, yes, sir. It's a silver belt. The one thing I told Larry, I said, do not let them kids paint that thing green. and the thing that I told him, which I think is great, like we did it with our kids in the off season, and when we would do stuff, whatever team was leading the competition would get to be the belt holders, and they would be walking through the school with the belt and stuff. And it's going to create some spirit, hopefully. And like I told Larry, I said, heck, give it to Trey Corey for this Cherryville Bessemer City basketball game. Let him carry that belt in there. And hopefully our kids will see that and say, man, that belt needs to come back over here to our side of the street, so to speak, or our side of the railroad track. So it'll just be something that we have and we do, and, hopefully the kids will get excited about it. We'll see how the communities take to it, but just something special. Back where I grew up at Starmount, they have the Battle of the Bridge and the Unified Bowl, and I was thinking, what would be something that we could do? And I had that belt, and I was staring at it one day, and I was like, man, that belt's not really doing a whole lot right now, so do something productive and hopefully motivate the kids in the off-season a little bit.
Well, I'm going to tell you one thing. I think it does a great job. I know when West Lincoln and 54 went to Battle of Hog Hill, and West Lincoln won, and then they lost it this past year. The guys at West Lincoln want that belt, that trophy back. And I can imagine how y'all are going to feel if this is the way it's going to be. Hey, let's get that thing back over here. And even when you speak of you and Bessemer City anyway, the series is so close between y'all's teams. That is a rivalry,
It is, and they've had the upper hand the last couple of years. We've had some good games. This last game this last year, or the last game of the season this year, we really played well, and of course they were without a couple of players. So we hope to get ready for the first game next year, and hopefully both of us go in there full strength and see how it goes. We go over there, and then they come to Cherryville at the end of the year for senior night. So it's a long ways away in some ways, but in some ways it's not either. It'll be here before we know it.
Well, that's pretty cool, Coach. And I just want to thank you for calling throughout the year, win or lose. Not everybody do that. You will give us a call, talk about the Ironman.
Well, I appreciate that. And I'll reach out to Mount Airy and see if they change those 1A games, Kevin. I'll let you know. Okay, I'll send you a text.
Okay, yeah. Coach, talk about we might have changed some times on some of those for today. I was reading from the website, and how that changes stuff. But
yeah, I think the High School Athletic Association website is really hard to navigate sometimes.
Yeah.
So I tend to look at NC Preps and things like that because people get on there and start spreading it through social media. So I would look there too. Okay.
Thank you, Coach.
All right, guys. Y'all take care. Thank y'all.
Coach Pruitt and the Battle of the Belt, Terry, that's going to be pretty big. That's pretty cool, too.
I love it. When you do stuff like that, then you go back in history and you pull up every game that they have played and put on a thing.
Wasn't it like 46 and 45 and 1?
It's like 33, 32 or something like that. It's one. It's not much difference, I don't have that in front of me, but, I try to keep up with so much in high school football, and I have to make notes because if you do not, it's kind of hard to just keep that all tucked in your head. If I was young, at Carson's and Elm's age and younger, I probably remember that, or Smoke.
All right, guys. Y'all know what time it is. It's time for another break, and it's cold outside. Carson can answer this question.
All right.
It's cooler than being cool, Carson.
Ice cold.
What's cooler than being cool, Terry?
I guess.
We'll be back in a minute.
That's it.
Sport Talk, KTC
All righty.
Broadcasting.com.
Due to weather conditions, the Cat Square and Cherryville Christmas Parade set for Saturday, December 9th, have been canceled. Again, the Cat Square and Cherryville Christmas Parades scheduled for Saturday, December 9th, have been canceled. No makeup dates have been announced at this time.
I'm Lon Helton, inviting you to join me as I count down the week's top 30 for the second week in a row with Luke Bryan, who has a confession.
I have a slight allergy to whiskey, and it took me years to figure that out. So I would take a shot of whiskey and sound worse.
That's Luke Bryan on Country Countdown USA.
Country Countdown USA with line held Wednesday afternoons at 1 o'clock on Carolina Country, 1590 AM WCSL, and online at KTCBroadcasting.com.
The winter rates and hours are now in effect at the Deerbrook Golf Course on Highway 180 North in Shelby. Play and ride Monday through Friday for just $33, or after 12 p.m. for just $28. Play and ride weekends for $42, or afternoons for $35. Seniors, you can play and ride Monday through Friday for just $28. Call for your tee time at 704-482-4653, or visit their website at DeerbrookGolfClub.com. The Deerbrook Golf Club, the friendly golf club.
Welcome back. Sports Talk. Next segment, NBA basketball. Hornets fall again last night. They got no shooting, Terry. They got no scoring. Other than Kemba and Dwight Howard. Dwight last night, first Hornet Bobcat in team history. 25 points, 20 rebounds, and 5 blocks for the Hornets. But as they fall for the second time to the Chicago Bulls, who have 4 wins on the season, 2 against Charlotte. All 4 of their wins have come on Friday night, guys.
Didn't they lose their last 10?
Yeah.
And then they beat the Hornets.
Yeah. Well, that's what I mean. You're out 2 bigs. Cody Zeller goes down. Frank Kaminsky goes down. You're going to have to play Johnny O'Brien a little bit more. You got to bring up Ma Tiang from Greensboro. And it's just as you talked about. There's nobody that can really make shots. I mean, Malik Monk is obviously he's going to make and take 3-pointers, but he's a liability defensively right now.
Yeah, he's still trying to learn the game of NBA basketball.
He's 19 years old.
He's been talking Kentucky basketball. Let's score, and we'll just outscore everybody. And you don't have to play too much defense. We're just better than everybody that we play, athletic-wise and ability-wise, that we can just do it. But in the NBA, every now and then you're going to have to play defense against the guy that you're against, and he does not do that. Last night I watched the game, and don't get me wrong, Dwight Howard now is 4-3 in his history of playing on his birthday.
Yeah.
But as far as everything else, Dwight played well. But as far as the rest, I'm having a hard time understanding how come Charlotte is not that good.
I'll tell you why.
I mean,
I'll tell you why right now. Marvin Williams is not that good. He never has been. I've been telling you guys for years.
Marvin Williams is how old at this point?
I know. He's not a starter. He never has been. He'd be great 6th man. Great wonderful 6th man. I like him. I'm not saying he's terrible, but he's not a starter. MKG, he's not a starter either.
No.
He can't shoot. You have to give up. You messed the number 2 pickup however many years ago it is. Either trade him or bench him.
That was the year they had the worst winning percentage ever. And, of course, naturally, we just can't get Anthony Davis.
One spot away.
You're as bad as you can possibly be. Still can't get the number 1 pick.
And then they messed up the 2. The Charlotte's problem is, think about all their picks. They've got Kemba and Dwight. And then everyone else who feels they got one free agent in Batum, and then they've got
they draft
Kaminsky.
Role players.
Exactly, that's it, Carson. Mm-hmm. They've got to stop drafting.
Well,
they've got to hit on the draft. They got Cody, Kaminsky, MKG are all drafts. They're all role players. They're all decent role players.
They would be
NBA
great
players.
fill players on other really good teams, but you can't build a team around. And they've got such a small, margin for error. And when one guy gets hurt, that can derail your whole
season.
Team. Mm-hmm.
9-15 right now, giving up 106 points a game.
And that's the whole thing is Clifford when he came in, and that's what
he's been.
He's a defensive minded guy, but he doesn't like to play young guys. Malik Monk is not. I mean, he's got a couple straight games where he didn't play.
They're scoring a half a point better a game than the Boston Celtics. They're giving up 9 more points a game than the Boston Celtics. That's the difference, guys, between 22-5 and 9-15.
And Kyrie.
Well, I mean, Kyrie, but I mean, Kemba does the same thing Kyrie does. And really, if you'd have switched them, if Kemba would have been with LeBron, I don't think it'd have been that much of a difference. The 3-point shooting, I would trust Kyrie more than I do Kemba, but the ball handling, Kemba's one of the best ball handlers.
I agree. Definitely.
And my thing of Kemba is that he's not that big, so, and you can't build an offense around that. He's got to have studs on the wings. They haven't had a Glenn Rice or Jamal Mashburn. Yeah. They haven't had those guys that can
Batum has streaks. Batum has streaks. It's just he's not consistently good. It's like one night he'll have a great 3-point shooting night, but he might not play as good a defense. The next night he'll play better defense, but offensively he'll struggle.
Batum is they're all good at what they do. There's about 7 or 8 of them.
When it all comes together, man, they are a really good team. But when it doesn't, it looks bad.
It's hard when you don't have wing scoring. Boston's got 3, 4, 5 guys that score on the wings.
Tatum's really took over the spot over there.
But Boston's strong spots 2 through 4 are Charlotte's weak spots.
Yeah.
Charlotte's are good at 1 and 5. Boston 2 through 4.
Yeah.
And then actually 1 through 4 in Boston, really. But and Horford plays the 5, but he plays like a power forward. He's not, he's not a center.
No.
But Terry, that here comes the Cavs. Here comes the Cavs.
Oh,
they had a streak. They lost. It's over now, isn't it?
I mean, they both lost last night. So I mean, I had a little text this past week from a good friend of ours that joins us quite often. But he sends me a little text, and he says, Terry, we've won 13 straight. And I sent him one back saying, yep, and you're still 3.5 games behind Boston.
They're both better than Charlotte.
Yeah.
The Warriors are in second place, or tied by games behind, second place in percentage behind the Rockets. Spurs in third without Kawhi Leonard the whole season.
They win every year.
Won last night, beat the Celtics with 40-year-old Manu.
Yeah.
Hit the game winner.
One of the all-time greatest foreign players of all time. He's definitely in the starting lineup. Minnesota, they're in the 4th spot. Denver, Portland, Utah, and the Pelicans. Alvin Gentry was pretty upset. Did you see that, Terry? Did you see?
Yeah.
They got beat by the Kings.
Oh, yeah. I mean, that'd make me upset.
He was livid in the post-game interview about that. It was pretty. That's the most, I would say, that I've seen Alvin Gentry speak in the history of his life that I've seen him on TV. I've never seen him say that that many words. How about the 76ers are currently in the playoffs? Embiid, the process is starting to work. Number 1 pick hasn't even played this year.
He doesn't need to, man. They need to figure out that shoulder because, I mean, you look at, I mean, you've seen the video of him shooting free throws in high school and college compared to now. I mean, something's up with that shoulder.
Yeah.
And he just needs time.
Yeah. They're saying it's not sore now. And something I want. The other day, I played. We're talking basketball. Terry played in the Bessemer City. Let's talk about that real quick. Played in the Bessemer City alumni game the other day. Had some fun. I didn't play entirely any too many minutes at all. I was trying not to kill myself. But you talking about the short shoulders and stuff. Never in my life have I had short shoulders, but I haven't played much basketball at all in about the last year or whatever. And the day after, I had short shoulders.
I guarantee.
And I've never in my life.
It was part of your body that you have quit using. That you went back to using.
The next day, Carson, I rolled over. I put my arm up on the pillow, and like I was about to go to sleep. And I was like, I can't move my arm. What is that? And I started thinking. I was like,
honey, I need a massage.
Honestly, goodness, in my whole life, I've been shooting basketball my whole life, and I really hadn't past year, and it stopped. And oh my goodness. I mean, I've never in my life felt the soreness in the shoulders, and if that's what he's going through, I could just see his pain to where, he probably didn't shoot as much in college as he does in the NBA. Think about the offseason he probably had where all he did shoot. In college, he was probably, playing the PlayStation and eating Doritos or something. I doubt he was shooting as many as he does, and maybe that's got something to do with it. But, Terry, our team won. It was Calvin Albright's team, the yellow team, versus our team was coached by Chris Calhoun. He was my coach. At Bessemer, and so we started the old guys. When I got there, it was actually most of my team was actually there. So it was pretty neat to see a bunch of the guys.
How long did you have to warm up? Like 3 hours?
No.
Oh, okay.
I warmed up at the Kings Mountain Christmas Parade. Is where I warmed up. Yeah. I got over to Bessemer. The girls' game. In front of us, they played, and they figured out about halfway through their game that the quarters were way too long. And about halfway through our game, so before our game, they adjusted the quarters a little bit, and then they adjusted them again at halftime, so the time changed 3 times. how we did it. Then they didn't decide. Then Calvin Albright's team started cheating at the end, trying to make a comeback. They convinced the refs that since it was the last 2 minutes. Now, Terry, we've been playing the whole game, clock running, didn't stop the whole time. Calvin's team convinces the last 2 minutes of the game we're all of a sudden we're stopping the clock.
Yeah.
So they start fouling and we're turning it over and all kinds of dumb stuff. And well, anyway, we end up pulling out the victory. I didn't see the final scorecard. I was 1 of 2 in the books from 3 with 1 3-pointer. I did 3 assists. I think it was 3. Daddy will probably argue with me and say it was only 2. But I'm counting the third one if it's the extra step or not. Let's see. Probably had 2 or 3 turnovers as well.
That good assist to turnover
had
ratio.
Some dumb. Yeah, that was 1-to-1 on that. I threw 2 dumb passes where I was trying to be too cute. You know, it's an all-star game.
That's it.
And nobody told Carson.
There it is.
The
Here it
other
comes.
team.
Here it comes.
Nobody told the other team this is an all-star charity game. They're
That's it.
pressing. They
Trapping,
were pressing and trapping, Calvin. If you're listening, all right, if you're listening, they were pressing and trapping, trying to make a comeback. No, here's what's bad about it. They had all the height too. Our tallest guy was maybe 5'11", 5'10". They had 2 6'7" guys, and so they're blocking our shots, trapping in the corners, hustling. And I'm like,
they're supposed to, man.
I came out here to jog down the court, cross over twice, and pull up a 3, and you guys are trapping me. Yeah, they're
to the last 2 minutes.
They're running a 1-3-1. And I said, Calvin, now I know you told them something. This 7-footer I've never met is trapping me in the corner. Why is he in my face right now? And I ain't got the ball. And I might have told him he could shoot.
He played back in 1911.
But my team, it was actually 3 of our starters from the team I played on, and then two. There's a guy from the year before me, Terrell Partlow from the year before me, and then after me was let's see. Oh, it was one of the guys that didn't start. He came off the bench my senior year. He came off. We ended up, the other team, because they did the years odd and even, Terry. So the other team had our best player for my senior year, Chris Edwards. He averaged about 20 a game. And I'm like, how's this fair? Y'all get Chris, and like I said, he was the height too. So I had to post up on Chris. Chris is 6'4", and I posted up on.
You mean try and post
They
up.
didn't feed me the ball, Carson. It was like watching.
why.
It was like watching the Hornets when they don't feed Dwight the other night.
Did y'all give out MVP?
No. Well, I would tell you who it was. Ty Carter.
Game.
It was Ty Carter. I do know. That is a good question. Why didn't they have the MVP award? We got some nice T-shirts. Had some fun. Saw a lot of old friends. What was funny about it, Terry? They had the cheerleaders out there too. They had 10 to 15 girls. And, I thought they was just going to go out there and do some, sitting on a tin can, those kind of cheers. No, they were doing the real cheers first of all. Then they started tossing some of them up in the air.
Ooh.
That's when I was like, okay, we've gone too far. Something bad's going to happen. But they did a great job, and nobody got hurt as far as I know. I did get a little boo-boo on my knee.
Oh, no.
Okay.
It's going to affect my golf game, I guess.
Yeah, because you're clearly going to go play golf right now.
It's not going to affect my basketball.
Yeah.
Carson, you've never played golf till you've played neighborhood snow golf. Around the neighborhood when everybody's inside asleep and you're hitting orange golf balls through their yards. They don't know about it yet. Ice golf is fun.
I need to try that thing.
It can't be mushy. It's got to be nice
good,
and solid and icy, and you can play on it. But yeah, we had a good time down there. Ty Carter did lead the team score. We had looking at the team, like I said, Terry, they had 2 6'7" guys. They went 2-3. They ran like a 2-3 zone. So, and
I thought you said they were pressing.
They were at.
He also said they were running a 1-3-1.
If you know anything about basketball,
I do.
When you score, you press and you lag back into a zone. Do you not? Okay, then. Don't. I mean, if I have to explain every play to you, how they
Jim Boeheim on here.
But anyway,
explain the intricacies of the 2-3 zone.
Yeah.
Now.
So anyway, they backed up into it or whatever. So we end up winning. We took a 15-point lead somehow. I guess our hustling defense and then we blew the 15-point lead about in the third quarter, early fourth quarter, and held on late with some Ty Carter 3-pointers. If you don't know that name, has the state record 3-pointers. I think it's either 16 or 17 in one game.
Ooh.
3-pointers.
That's not bad.
No, it's not bad. He could shoot. He had to come off the bench though. He sat the bench behind me, of course.
Coach, that was the coach's decision.
Well, see what we did. Me and the old guys, Terry, and watched it. We went over there and tied, and some of the younger guys, bench warmer. You always have to take that. All right, we did have fun, Terry. Real quick, it's time for another break, and we're going to get into some NFL and stuff in a little bit. Terry, and Carson. Going forward, do we see anything different? Your finals picks, Eastern Conference and Western Conference finals picks as of today, real quick.
Well, I'm going to take mine. I mean, I think Boston and Cleveland are going to be there.
Yeah.
I keep hearing a lot of people say Toronto is going to finish ahead of Cleveland.
Doesn't matter if they do. Yeah.
That's what I'm saying, but I keep hearing a lot of people keep saying, well, Toronto's going to finish. And they are right now. They're about a game up on them, half a game up. But as far as the rest of them, I'm proud of Indiana Pacers, the way they're playing now. Philadelphia, they kind of fell off a little bit now. They fell to number 8. New York Knicks still hanging around. I mean, I give them credit. And then we go on the other side, and people talk about the Lakers, and then we go to the LeVar Ball.
Hold on. I said, what's going on in the Eastern and Western Conference Finals? I walked 10 feet, and I'm hearing you talk about Lonzo Ball. What happened?
That didn't take long, did it?
Well, that's what I'm saying. I mean, did he not make the news? I mean, he's yanked his kids now. And
no, Terry's bringing it all back around. The Lakers are playing in Charlotte tonight.
Okay. Is
that's
that where we're going?
There
that's
you
what it
go.
You can listen to Lakers and Hornets tonight at 7 p.m. WHS, WCSL, and WLON. Terry, are the Celtics going to beat the Cavs or not?
See, that's very. I want to say because I mean, you're still LeBron is the best player in the NBA.
In year 15,
he is.
In year 15,
he is.
No, he's not. No,
he is the best player out
Kevin
there.
Durant is the best player in the NBA.
You're saying one-on-one and ISO
There's
situation.
no way LeBron would destroy him underneath.
No.
He would never take. He would never. And then LeBron's outside game is getting better.
It's gotten a lot better.
Yeah, sure.
So and underneath, he kills him.
Let's go have a free throw contest and see who wins.
Well, that's a different story. No,
that's what we're basing it on. Then James Harden's the MVP.
But now I will say this: when I coached, I always taught the
Who
kids.
won the MVP in the finals?
This past year?
Yes.
It was
Kevin Durant.
Yeah, it's Kevin.
Yeah, thank goodness for Curry and Green.
Well,
and
LeBron don't have any teammates either. It's not like
you can say that about his whole career.
Kyrie never hit any shots. Ray Allen never hit any shots. Dwayne Wade never hit any shots. Chris Bosh never. LeBron never had a teammate. That's what it was. Exactly what it was. All right, it's time for a break on KTC Broadcasting. We're going to come back and talk Carolina Panther football, L.A. Rams football. I got that right, L.A. Rams.
Yeah.
Mike Mitchell. Yeah.
Oof.
Need to talk about him.
All right, we'll be back in a few minutes. KTC Broadcasting.
Due to weather conditions, the Cat Square and Cherryville Christmas Parade set for Saturday, December 9th, have been canceled. Again, the Cat Square and Cherryville Christmas Parades scheduled for Saturday, December 9th, have been canceled. No makeup dates have been announced at this time.
The tradition.
Every day I get to put those 4 letters across my chest.
The Blue Devils have scaled basketball's tallest mountain for the 5th time.
With passion.
Holds up for the 3. Got it!
All that matters is winning games. That's what Duke is built on.
Give and go. And he dunks it home.
This is Duke basketball.
Are we going to make some noise this year?
Look away for the 2-hand check.
Comes free from 3 and buries it dead on.
Follow the Blue Devils all season long on your home for Duke basketball.
Duke, North Carolina, and Clemson basketball. Right here on the Boss in Carolina Country and online at KTCBroadcasting.com.
It's time to play at the Kings Mountain Country Club. Play and ride on the new cart paths. Play and ride 18 holes Monday through Friday for $28. Seniors 55 and older can ride and play 18 holes Monday through Friday for just $24. Play and ride 18 holes on weekends for just $37. For tee times, call 704-739-5871 for the Kings Mountain Country Club, located on 109 Country Club Drive in Kings Mountain.
I'm Terry Clark, inviting you to join me this week for Country Gold, where we play all your favorites from the 80s and 90s.
Country Gold with Terry Clark, Thursday afternoons 1 to 5 on Big O Country, 1590 AM WCSL, and online at KTCBroadcasting.com.
The winter rates and hours are now in effect at the Deerbrook Golf Course on Highway 180 North in Shelby. Play and ride Monday through Friday for just $33, or after 12 p.m. for just $28. Play and ride weekends for $42, or afternoons for $35. Seniors, you can play and ride Monday through Friday for just $28. Call for your tea time at 704-482-4653 or visit their website at deerbrookgolfclub.com. The Deerbrook Golf Club, the friendly golf club.
KC Champion of Kings Mountain is this month's McDonald's WOHS What's Up Shopper Scholar Athlete of the Month. KC is the son of Kevin and Cammie Champion. KC plays first base on the Kings Mountain Mountaineer baseball team and has a grade point average of 4.875. His advanced courses include AP U.S. Government, AP Psychology, AP Comparative Government, AP English, and AP English Literature. He is a member of the First Baptist Church of Kings Mountain and is involved in the Murphy's Tour Run and Shriners Barbecue. After graduation, Casey plans to attend the U.S. Air Force Academy or UNC Wilmington. The McDonald's KTC Broadcasting What's Up Shopper Scholar Athlete is to recognize a student athlete not only for accomplishments in athletics, but also for overall achievements in the classroom and overall school and community citizenship.
It's time to play at the Kings Mountain Country Club. Play and ride on the new cart paths. Play and ride 18 holes Monday through Friday for $28. Seniors 55 and older can ride and play 18 holes Monday through Friday for just $24. Play and ride 18 holes on weekends for just $37. For tee times, call 704-739-5871 for the Kings Mountain Country Club, located on 109 Country Club Drive in Kings Mountain.
Due to weather conditions, the Cat Square and Cherryville Christmas Parade set for Saturday, December 9th, have been canceled. Again, the Cat Square and Cherryville Christmas Parades scheduled for Saturday, December 9th, have been canceled. No makeup dates have been announced at this time.
Hey, you don't have to be a member of the Cherryville Golf and Country Club to come out and eat. Everyone is welcome. Try their famous Sunday buffet from 11 a.m. till 2 p.m. And they're open for dinner each and every Thursday, Friday, and Saturday night from 5 p.m. until. And ask about their Chicken on the Run on Sundays. Get a whole chicken and 2 sides for only $14.50. Place your order by calling 704-435-6597 for your Chicken on the Run. Voted the best chicken in Cherryville at the Cherryville Golf and Country Club off Roy Acre Road in Cherryville.
Tee it up and let it fly at the Crowders Mountain Golf Course, voted Gaston County's best course. Ride and play Monday through Friday for just $28. Play and ride after 12 for $25. On weekends and holidays, play and ride for $38 and afternoon for only $28. Seniors 55 and older play and ride Monday through Friday for $25. And Monday is Ladies' Day. Ladies play and ride on Mondays for $18. The Crowders Mountain Golf Course, located on 255 Lincoln Academy Road in Gastonia.
In New Orleans.
Bank of America Stadium tomorrow. Vikings and Panthers. KTC Broadcasting. WCSL 1590 AM, WLON 1050 AM, and WOHS 1015 FM 1390 AM. Panthers and Vikings this weekend. Terry talked to Smoke Louie yesterday. And, last week when Tom was in here, 2 weeks ago, you had the Vikings in the Super Bowl is who Terry had, Carson, whether you believe that or not. He had the Vikings in the Super Bowl. Go ahead.
They've been playing good, man.
Me and Tom and I had Saints and I think Steelers, and I think Terry had Vikings. And was it Patriots who you had?
Yes, I did.
And so those are the differences with that. Smoke yesterday, his prediction, Terry, guess.
He's got Carolina winning.
How many?
By 7.
Carson, what do you think Smoke picked?
Probably Carolina.
By?
14.
He predicted 24-13.
Oh, my, come on.
Wait.
Their defense is a little bit better than that.
Terry, let me finish my sentence. Vikings.
Oh, okay.
Smoke.
Okay, Smoke, you liable to have it right.
Attaboy.
I one word away, and yeah, you lost your mind.
I was getting ready to say.
I was starting to worry. I really was.
Smoke, I give you a lot of credit, man. Now, I know that's tough. I mean, he's like me. When you speak of the Cowboys, sometimes alone you have to understand what's going to happen and go with what you think. But tomorrow's game, is it big for both of them? It's very huge for Carolina. Because if they want to say, but I'm going to tell you something, though. New Orleans is the one making it very interesting because they continue to lose now. So your team might not make the playoffs.
Terry, they got a 2-game lead.
And the Panthers are not going to beat the Vikings, man. There's just I don't see that. I mean, I saw them play the Rams a couple weeks ago, and I mean they're legit, man. I mean Case Keenum, a guy who played for the Rams last year, and he's doing exactly what you need to do to not lose a game, and then they're leaning on that defense to play good. The Vikings, they figured something out.
Okay, there you go. You're
playoff standings.
You're starting to put everybody else back up there with you.
Well, Terry, first of all, who's behind them?
Well, that's what I'm saying.
The Panthers.
Seattle.
They've beat them twice. They have a 2-game lead then on the Panthers, basically.
Okay.
They got one in the win
but
column,
if you lose to Atlanta next time, you're behind them.
Well, that's Atlanta. Now, that's different. Now, Atlanta to win the division has to win out.
A lot of things got to go right.
So Atlanta has to win out to win the division.
All they got to do is finish in a tie with them.
The Panthers, if they don't go 2-2 or better, are going to have a chance to miss the playoffs if the Packers or Cowboys make a run with Aaron Rodgers and Zeke back, or the Falcons. The Panthers they got to go 2-2 at least, and they end with Minnesota. They end with who did they got next? Dang it! I just had it in my head. I'll just click on it. I'll just click on her name one more time. Anyway, they got to go 2-2. I think better get to 10 wins. I think that's the magic number.
It is
in
most
the
years.
NFC.
Yeah.
Vikings Packers next week. That'll be Aaron Rodgers returning for the Packers. First game back in Carolina. Then they host Tampa, which should be a win if you're a playoff team.
I mean, I think that's the only one where you can sort of preliminarily mark that down as a win.
And then ends the season. This is going to be the 6th seed right here, I think.
Yeah.
Panthers at Falcons, week 17. That might decide the 6th seed, or if it works out where they both lose a couple games, that game may decide whether Dallas or Green Bay or someone can make a jump into the 6th seed.
Sneak in, yeah.
Yeah, well, as you're looking at it, I got Detroit, who still has at Tampa, Chicago, at Cincinnati, Green Bay. They probably got the easiest trip to get there.
Yeah.
Detroit does.
That last game's going to be tough.
Yeah, that one will be tough.
If
and that might end up
playing.
being a game there that decides who's in and who's out. But
what that might be, we might have Carolina, Atlanta deciding who's the 5 seed or the 6, and then if depending on who wins that, the Detroit Green Bay winner may jump in that spot. If you know what I mean.
Yeah, the problem with Dallas is this:
they got to win out. Right?
Well, their problem is
NFC?
3 of the next 4 are on the road.
Yeah,
you're at the Giants, you're at Oakland, then you play Seattle at home, and then you go to Philly.
The Giants. I mean, that's another one of those where you
better win.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. You got to mark that down as a win, and you got to execute.
You've got to win that one.
Well, looking at Dallas' schedule, they got to win. If they got to win this week against the Giants, Zeke still don't come back for another week.
No, he don't come back this week
at
either.
Oakland.
Yes.
So that means Dallas would have to win at Oakland without Zeke. So that means they'd have to win at Giants without Zeke, which is possible, and at Oakland without Zeke, which is very, very questionable.
This is a game they will
Zeke
win.
comes back at home.
They'll beat them
with Seattle. That's tough, Terry.
Yeah,
but then they finish in Philly.
You got 2 guys that ain't on that team. Dallas will be okay.
Well, yeah, their defense is starting to struggle. So if the playoffs start today, guys, here we go. Let's play the game. We got Falcons. I need a blank sheet of paper to write on here. Somebody give me a pen. We got Falcons at Rams. Terry.
Wait, no. Eagles or Rams?
Eagles.
Getting your birds mixed up.
Oh, Panthers at Rams, actually.
Wait.
Yeah.
Oh, for the playoffs. Sorry, I thought you were talking about
No,
tomorrow.
not this one.
That's the 3. Yeah, that's the 3. That's the 3-6. Yeah,
right
that's the 3-6.
Panthers at Rams. We know Carson's picking, Terry.
Well,
I'm going to go with him. I'm going to go L.A.
Yeah. Carson and Terry both go L.A. Seahawks at Saints.
You're going to be without Richard Sherman. You're going to be without Cam Chancellor.
Saints.
You're going to be in New Orleans. Saints.
They should.
All 3 of us are on that. So if all 3 of us are on that, that sets up the next matchups. We don't have to play no ifs, ands, or buts. That means Rams and Nolans. So Nolans would go to Minnesota.
Minnesota beats them.
And then the Rams would go to Philadelphia.
Who they're playing this week.
I'm picking I still got New Orleans in Minnesota. I'm not picking Case Keenum over Drew Brees in the playoffs.
Yeah.
I mean, this is playoff time.
And it's going to be indoors. It's going to be indoors. I mean, Drew Brees is going to be playing on turf.
Yeah. It's not the point. Minnesota's defense will stop everything Drew's trying to do.
What about Alvin Kamara?
He won't even be in there. He'll be out with head concussion.
We'll see. We'll see about that. Luke Kuechly was bleeding out of his face 3 weeks ago, and we all know he's got concussions, and nobody took him off the field. I don't think Kamara's going to miss the playoff game.
Yeah,
Kamara's a whole lot smaller guy.
That's all right. So who y'all got? Hey, let's quit messing around. Who you got?
Minnesota.
Okay, Terry. Carson.
Minnesota.
I got Nolans. Rams at Eagles.
Eagles.
I just
too much defense. I hate playing in Philly.
You're selling the Rams defense a little short here, man. You got Aaron Donald. He's probably a top 5 defensive player in the league. Probably.
Who has the Rams lost to? They've lost 3 games. Have all of them been on the road?
No, they've been at home. They're good on the road. They're a lot better on the road than they are at home.
I know they beat Dallas on the road.
They beat Dallas.
They give up too many points. That's the problem. Philadelphia's not going to give them many points. I mean, there's going to be the difference. There's going to be a defense against an offense, and that offense is not going to win.
It's just I don't know, man.
Let him make his pick. We got like 12 more games to go.
I've already made my pick.
I know you have. Shut up and let him make it. Who you got, Carson?
I'm trying to help you.
I'm not trying to be biased about it. I'm trying to think objectively.
I mean, if I had to change everything, Dallas would be in this thing.
Well, yeah, Terry, we all know that.
Football, we're voting. Yeah. Cowboys are back in.
In Philly, it's going to be in December. I mean, I guess I'll go with the Eagles.
So, we all three had the Eagles, so we've got them in the NFC Championship. I've got New Orleans. Y'all got Minnesota. Who do y'all got? Minnesota versus New Orleans. Wins. You still got Minnesota in the Super Bowl?
Yep.
Minnesota and Philadelphia, Carson.
I'm going to go Philly.
And I got New Orleans. So we got 3 different teams sitting at this table. Minnesota, Philadelphia, and New Orleans, you're all going to the Super Bowl. Over in the AFC, Jacksonville at Kansas City.
Kansas City.
Yeah, I'm going to go Kansas
City. They're coming out.
Alex Smith over Blake Bortles.
Everything's been happening. Y'all going Terry and Carson on us hot on KC. I'm going Jacksonville. Baltimore at Tennessee.
Baltimore.
Yeah, I'll go Baltimore, yeah.
I did too. I can't believe we all just went Baltimore. We all just picked Joe Flacco. There's no way that's happening.
It was elite.
So Flacco would go to Pittsburgh, and they're playing tomorrow.
Pittsburgh, yeah.
Y'all both got Pittsburgh in the AFC Championship game. I will agree. Then that leaves us. Y'all have got KC at New England.
New England.
And I've got Jacksonville at New England, and Jacksonville is not pulling that one off.
Yeah.
So we all got New England at Pittsburgh.
All right, here's your deal. Like I've said all year long, you're playing at Pittsburgh. Pittsburgh wins this time.
You picking a home team in this matchup no matter what, Terry?
On account of they're playing at home.
I'm going to go New England.
I'm going home team no matter what. Pittsburgh as well. So Carson has New England and Philly.
It's 2008 all over again.
Terry has Minnesota and Pittsburgh. And I've got New Orleans and Pittsburgh still. So there we go, folks. There's your expert picks.
Then your World Series. Your Super Bowl champions then would be Pittsburgh picking up number 7. And I hate to say that.
You know what's funny about that? For the past about 10 years or 5-6 years in the paper in my article, I've picked Pittsburgh and the Cowboys in the Super Bowl every year. And this year I did not pick Pittsburgh in the Super Bowl for the first time, maybe in the career of my article. I picked the Patriots and the Giants is who I had in the Super Bowl.
Well.
So it's probably, I guess
that's a good pick.
I would say now, since I didn't pick Pittsburgh for this year, the last 5, they're probably guaranteed to pull this off. So I'm still going to pick in that game. It's going to be a toss-up. I think that would be one of the best. And my game would be New Orleans-Pittsburgh, and I think that would be one of the best Super Bowls we've ever seen between both offenses and both defenses. Terry's got Vikings-Pittsburgh, and Carson's got Patriots and Eagles. So we've seen that before too, haven't we?
Yeah.
Been a while since we've seen the Purple People Eaters that far, though, Terry.
Yeah, you're right.
Now,
it's been a while.
As far as the quarterbacks go in the NFL, Eli has 210 games, 2 Super Bowls, and coach is going to be fired, decides to break his streak and bench him for a backup.
He got what was coming to him.
They should have never let him into his streak like that if that's what was going to happen.
That's true.
And that the owner came out and said, if anybody should have said anything, it should have been me. Well, why didn't you?
Yeah, why didn't?
Case Keenum wins 8 straight games or 9 straight now, and the coach after every game comes out and says, "Well, he might get to play next week." I mean, how good is Teddy Bridgewater? His leg was almost amputated.
Yeah.
And
congratulations to him. It wasn't. I mean,
this kid has won 8 or 9 straight games. And the coach is like, well, I'm going to put in the guy whose leg might have fell off a couple years ago, who hasn't played a game since. It's not like he's played
a full 2 years
for another team or he's just practiced. You're in first place, and you're talking about going to Teddy Bridgewater.
Do you know what can happen on this? It's the same thing that happened in Dallas where Romo decided, well, I'm going to get out of here. And Bridgewater's going to get out of here if Keenan continues to win. Because then he's going to say, well, it's not going to be happening here. But the worst part about that is no other team's going to pick him up to make him a starter because we have not seen him play since that happened.
Well, here's the thing. Next year's this offseason quarterback carousel is going to be one of the biggest ever. Think about all the teams that are going to need quarterbacks. Are they going to want to draft? Are they going to trade? Is Big Ben retiring? Is Phillip Rivers retiring? Is Romo coming back? Is,
Eli retiring? Which he says he's not.
Minnesota, all 3 of their quarterbacks, Bradford, Keenum, and Bridgewater, can be free agents. All 3 of them. So none of them might be back. We might
2 of them are former Rams quarterbacks.
We might have Tyrod Taylor.
No wonder he couldn't win.
Tyrod Taylor.
Yeah, well, Jeff. Hey, they were Jeff Fisher quarterbacks now.
Tyrod Taylor would be available. Alex Smith is going to be available. Jacksonville's going to be looking for a quarterback. Will Flacco retire, or I doubt it. He's getting paid too much to retire. Let's see who else needs quarterbacks. Jets. Will Eli just go across the hall to the Jets?
Or will he go to Jacksonville and reunite with Coughlin?
He could do that. Dolphins, is Tannehill going to be back and ready? Houston, they'll have Deshaun Watson off injury. Will Andrew Luck ever play again? How bad a decision has it been for the Colts not keeping Peyton Manning?
I mean, if you kept him, what do you got? 2 more years?
A Super Bowl?
Probably
a Super Bowl?
Maybe. Peyton, listen, that last Super Bowl, Peyton needed that defense. He was not going to win that Super Bowl by himself.
What did they get out of Andrew Luck? Nothing.
Well, I don't think he would have got that much out of Peyton Manning.
Yeah, he just took them nowhere.
So
they got Jacoby. Though.
Of course, Cleveland will be looking for a quarterback. Denver will be looking for a quarterback. Minnesota obviously looking for a quarterback, and they got the 1 seed in the NFC. Then them in Jacksonville, if they get quarterbacks, they can be pretty formative.
But now here's your difference. Speaking of all them teams that need one, and then you got your draft coming. Mayfield to me is not going to be an NFL quarterback.
No, he's not. He's a system quarterback.
Jackson, which they don't even mention him now, as they talk about him being a receiver, not a quarterback.
Yeah.
I mean, so you've got nobody coming out.
You're waiting on Rosen and Darnold to figure out if they're going to come out, which I think both of them need to go back because they don't even have 30 college starts under their belt.
So Redskins are going to need a quarterback after they get rid of Kirk Cousins. Arizona might need a quarterback after Carson Palmer might retire. Is Tampa going to stick with Jameis? Are they too much invested in him right now?
Jameis is the Tampa Bay version of Eli Manning.
Chicago's got Trubisky, 49ers got Garoppolo, and then the New York Giants.
Well, Garoppolo, isn't this the last year on his deal, though? So a lot of he could, I mean, not to say he will or anything, but it's not guaranteed.
This is going to be one of the most interesting quarterback carousel off season. And somebody like Romo, Terry, if he does want to come back, he's actually in a really good position.
He'll be in demand. Yeah,
he's in a good position.
I just got a feeling he's going to say no.
Well, here's what I'm.
Once you get out of it for a whole year,
he's going to break his collarbone again.
Well, who cares? Who cares? Aaron Rodgers just broke his.
But does he want to go through that again?
But listen to this. Listen to this. Here's a spot nobody's talking about, and I'm going to give you that I would look out for Romo.
Man.
Pittsburgh Steelers.
Man.
Big Ben's been talking about it for years. If that's open, who are they? Okay, if you're the Steelers, who are you going to call?
You got a pocket quarterback in Ben, and that's what they go by. They're not going to want Tony Romo.
Who are they going to want, Terry?
They have a rocket scientist as a backup.
Who are the Steelers going to want to replace Big Ben for the next couple years before Tomlin retires?
They got a rocket scientist as Josh Dobbs out of Tennessee, man. Listen, if you follow the Steelers, you know a lot of people are really high on this dude. He is super smart.
Everybody loves the backup quarterback.
I know they do, man.
Dak Prescott got talked into playing against Aaron Rodgers by the fans last year. Yeah, let's all put in Josh who?
Dobbs. Joshua Dobbs.
Remember that. From Tennessee.
He has a degree in rocket engineering, man.
Well, he ought to do that. that because he'll be a rocket scientist than a quarterback. I'll promise you that one. Josh Dobbs.
More money in being a quarterback.
But Pittsburgh, seriously, Alex Smith would. I mean, they're not going to look for one of these rookie guys. They're going to be looking for somebody that can throw the ball, a veteran. So they'll be looking at Alex Smith, maybe even Tyrod Taylor, or some of these guys that might move. Eli in Pittsburgh.
Well, I could see that. He's a pocket man.
I could see that a lot
Pittsburgh's,
more.
I don't think you're ever going to go away from that pocket quarterback that you got to have.
Well, they had who was it?
I had Brandon L at one time.
Yeah, well, they had
Cordell Stewart.
Cordell Stewart, that's who I was thinking of.
Yeah.
And that's the last mobile quarterback that they've really had.
Well, Neil O'Donnell made the Super Bowl.
And what was he? Pocket quarterback.
That's what I'm saying. Neil O'Donnell made the Super Bowl. Somebody was arguing with me about how good their quarterback was because he made the Super Bowl.
Larry Brown become
Carson,
famous.
I was like, well, Kaepernick made the Super Bowl. Rex Grossman made a Super Bowl.
Yeah, if Rex Grossman, good old sexy Rexy can make a Super Bowl.
Neil O'Donnell made a Super Bowl. Craig Morton made 2 or 3, didn't he? He was awful.
Got rid of that.
Jake Delhomme made the Super Bowl.
And we can always go back to Billy Kilmer.
There's a lot of teams that made
Trent
the Super Bowl.
Dilfer won a Super Bowl. I mean, good Lord.
All right, guys, this weekend we got some games coming up real quick. Preview Panthers and Vikings. And then Cowboys, Giants, nobody cares about Terry. They even got bumped. Cowboys and Giants got bumped for the Jaguars game. I just wish
if you know they got bumped to 1 o'clock, so
you got bumped for the Jaguars. The Browns have got a big game this week against Green Bay.
Yeah.
Brett Hundley,
boy,
chance to win. Brett Hundley,
Cleveland.
Yeah,
this is your chance.
Josh
Do
Gordon
it for us.
Josh Gordon looking good.
Tom, I'm pulling for Cleveland.
Yeah, they can.
Oh man!
And then also let's for Carson's sake talk real quick. Eagles Rams. I get ready for the next break.
I mean, you talk about the 1 and 2 picks from last year: Jared Goff, Carson Wentz. Man, Sean McVay going up against a former divisional opponent in the Eagles. I think this is probably the best game of the weekend. Man, it's I'm gonna be nervous, man. I'm not. The Rams haven't been good for a really long time, so I've sort of been maybe a little bit, ignorant to some things. Tried to save myself, but if they can beat Philly this week, I think they're pretty good right now, 9-3. If they beat Philly this week, they're a top 5 team in the league, man.
Well, I'm gonna be honest with you, Carson. I think the Rams are gonna win. I do,
Oh,
and
man,
I'm going to tell you why.
Don't you get my hopes up, Terry.
Because I see Philly, they're about like New Orleans. You've been there. You went 10-1. The same thing that Philly does, and you're going to fall down right here, and you're going to bring everybody else back up with you, and that's the way the NFL likes it.
Yeah, they do.
Because when
Yeah.
you get down to the last weekend, everything's up for grabs again. But because you've had such a great year, I got the Rams winning this week. But now if we go to the playoffs and Philly has to go to L.A., I do think the Rams can win there, and that's only kind of you're playing in front of your people. But if you have to go to Philly, that's a tough place to play, and I don't think you can beat them there.
The Rams this season have played a lot better on the road than at home.
Well, they score points. That's huge, and that's something Philly's going to take away from them.
Yeah.
So, so guys, real quick, we do have a phone call on the line, and he is upset with Terry.
Oh my God!
About pulling for the Browns.
Hey, I'm pulling for Cleveland. Go Browns
against the green and gold.
Them 14 team, 15,
13.
16. Oh, okay,
12.
13.
12, 0-12, sorry. They're going to be 0-13, sorry.
How many they lose straight. Yeah.
They got just as many Super Bowls as the Cowboys and the Panthers do in the last 22 years.
I mean, that's a good point, man.
So who we got, Mr. Tom?
Will Boykins on the phone.
Oh, Will.
Yeah, he dropped the green and gold.
Hey.
There it is.
I cannot believe my namesake, Mr. Terry, is on there blaspheming about my Green Bay Packers losing to Cleveland.
Yeah.
I'm going to tell you what.
Them dogs going to bark today.
Cleveland they've been tough here lately, and this is the game where I think your nice quarterback y'all got back there, Hundley, is going to get picked off, and it's going to end the game, and it's going to destroy Green Bay and their chances on making playoffs. I mean,
playoffs?
Yeah, playoffs.
We're talking about playoffs. We got to win a game.
I mean, after last week's win by Green Bay, everybody said, "Whoa, man! Now all of a sudden, Rodgers going to have a chance." But you know what, Will? You know as well as I do, This is a game that Green Bay cannot lose.
No, we cannot lose this game, but I don't think we're going to lose this game. I think our defense is a little bit better than Cleveland's offense.
You're playing
and
on the road.
That's going to be the story.
Playing on the road in that dog pound that they haven't won in the last 100 years.
Pounded. You're getting dog pounded.
Dog pounded. No, I don't think it happened. Brad had a great game last week. And he managed the game, and that's pretty much what the quarterback's got to do, is manage the game. He didn't have, number-wise, he didn't have an outstanding game number-wise, but he got out of the pocket. He took the ball down the field. He got the first downs when he needed to get the first downs. And he didn't throw the ball away 5 times, which what he was doing before and the reason why he was losing.
Well, I'm going to be honest. When I wrote down my list to come in here today, the only way I ever see Cleveland even mentions if they playing somebody else, because nobody knows who Cleveland is. But as
Cleveland
I got down here, and all of a sudden
is.
I did have Green Bay at Cleveland on the road. And Cleveland, like I said, they haven't won, and they keep talking about that. They haven't won in I don't know how long at home. You know, they talking like 2-3 years since they've won a game at home. And I'm like, you know what?
The last win was Johnny Manziel.
Oh,
yeah.
I was gonna guess like Derek Anderson or Brady Quinn.
Johnny Manziel.
So I mean, they even talk about on Sundays they haven't won in forever. So I'm like, Cleveland's gonna stop at this week, gonna beat the Green Bay Packers and hurt their playoff chances.
Hey, Johnny Manziel has the same number of rings as Cam Newton's got. So
Well, I'm going to get your number in a little bit, and I'm going to be sending you texts like I do Tom and them.
Yeah, you gonna get. I'm gonna make sure that you get my number. I'm gonna send it to Kevin. Make sure you get my number so we can talk during this game.
You don't want my number. Will, I tell you what, you better enjoy this week. Hope you win. If Tom beats you, it'll be funny. But next week when y'all play the Panthers,
Tom have his dogs in the background while Terry was doing this.
Yeah, I noticed they were barking already.
Yeah, boy.
They already barking at you, and the game ain't even until tomorrow.
They're ready.
I mean,
see there, listen at them.
You got them riled up. Will, you're the one that called and got the dogs riled up. Don't blame that on me.
Ain't no need of them dogs getting riled up.
I mean, I'd hate for you to be at work right now.
Yeah, I'm at work right now.
See there you go.
I mean, I would hate to think that a little bit of snow would stop people from coming to work.
Oh, well, stop 2 parades and all kinds
smoke.
of
And smoke, yeah.
Hey, Will, but what I was going to tell you is that you better be good this week and be happy, because next week you play the Panthers, and all the friends that you thought you had, you're about to lose. I'm just going to promise it. I'm going to let you know how it's about to happen, because they'll turn on you as soon as you say go.
Hey, listen, I do that every year when we beat Dallas. I lose a bunch of friends. And every year we beat the Panthers, I lose a bunch of friends. But, they had that one little chance a couple of years ago. They beat us, tried to hold us out of the playoffs, but it didn't happen. They beat us when they was running good. They 15-1 season, turned around and had an 8-8 season behind that. What was
6-10
record last year?
6-10.
6-10. Wow.
Yeah, good turnaround.
So I'm not worried about the Panthers. We have to play who's in front of us. It's just like we say in high school football in the playoffs. You got to play who's in front of you first.
Well, this week, I mean, you got to play who's in front of you, but you better be careful. You better be careful.
I'll tell you what. Listen to me.
I know it's the ultimate setup game for them to be overconfident over the win last week and then come in and go Cleveland and get a win at home, which they ain't done it forever. It's the ultimate setup, but I don't think that story's been wrote.
Well, Will, tell me something. You're 6-6. 3 of your next 4 are on the road. You're at Cleveland, at Carolina. You play home against Minnesota, at Detroit. How do y'all come out of them 4 games?
3-1. I mean 2-1.
Well, you got 4, so you're gonna have to go. You gonna go 3-1 or 2-2?
3-1.
3-1.
3-1.
That's liable to get you in.
It'll be close. It'll be close.
All right. 3-1 though. That's tough.
I see us winning the road games.
This might be the only one. At Cleveland. Because that Carolina's not going to be easy, and that Detroit's not going to be easy.
We'll make up for both of them. Detroit is destroyed right now.
You know Detroit's 6-6 with y'all. And their schedule is at Tampa, Chicago, at Cincinnati, and then Green Bay. So
Right. So we got to win the heads up with them to get in. We got to beat Carolina to get the playoff bid. So I don't foresee that that getting stopped by Carolina. I don't think Carolina's going to be a big game. It's going to make a whole lot of difference.
You don't have to worry about the kitty cats.
You
got to worry about the gnomes.
we ain't got to worry about anybody else right now, but Kaiser and what's the guy that just came back?
Josh
Gordon.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Josh Gordon. Them the two people we got to worry about this week, and then we'll see what's on the schedule after that. We'll worry about what's on the schedule after that. When we
Will, I'm going on record. Cleveland beat y'all tomorrow.
All right. I'm gonna make sure I get your number. I'm gonna find Calvin somewhere. I'm gonna make sure I have your number by the end of the day so we can talk about this. I'll talk to Seta Funny on Facebook about it.
Well, if it makes you feel better, Tom just sent me a text predicting that Cleveland's still going 0-16. So go for your Packers. Thanks for calling us, Will, on this beautiful snowy Saturday, right?
Beautiful snowy Saturday, guys. If they ain't got nothing to do, send them my way.
Come buy a four-wheel drive truck from Will right now.
Right now.
All right,
I got
buddy.
one sitting on the deck waiting on you. We'll see you guys.
All right, thanks, Will.
Take care,
That's
Will.
Will Boykins. We're going to take one more quick break, come back, and wrap up the show here in just a few moments. And here on KTC Broadcasting, having fun, guys, and we'll be back here in just a few minutes. But Cleveland rocks.
All this energy calling me. Cleveland rocks. I got some records from World War II. I play 'em just like me granddad did.
How would you like to win $1,000 in Christmas cash? Of course you would. And you can if you register to win the $1,000 Christmas cash giveaway. Back again this year. Register with no obligation to buy at Central Drugstore downtown Bessemer City, at Carolina Hardware and Garden Center on the Reedsville Road in Lincoln, at Long Island Marine on Long Island Road in Catawba, at Full Throttle Power Sports on Indian Walk in Lowell, at Eric Johnson Auto Sales on the Bessemer City Road in Cherryville, at Carpet One Interiors on East Ozark Avenue in Gastonia, at Basic Finance Company on Highway 74 Bypass East in Shelby, at Dallas Express Pharmacy in Dallas, at Amity Finance on East Ozark Avenue in Gastonia, and in downtown Kings Mountain. The drawing will be held Friday, December 22nd at 8 a.m. on the Boss and Carolina Country. So register to win the $1,000 Christmas cash giveaway from the Boss, Carolina Country, the What's Up Shopper, and KTC Broadcasting.
Cherryville Ironman Sports right here on Big O Country, WCSL 1590 AM, Cherryville, Gastonia. Online at ktcbroadcasting.com.
Due to weather conditions, the Cat Square and Cherryville Christmas Parade set for Saturday, December 9th, have been canceled. Again, the Cat Square and Cherryville Christmas Parades scheduled for Saturday, December 9th, have been canceled. No makeup dates have been announced at this time. NASCAR's America's Tailgate Party, Friday mornings at 10 a.m. from the Motor Racing Network and right here at Big O Country, WCSL, Cherryville, Gastonia.
We'll start the weekend cloudy to mostly cloudy and cold today. We'll have some areas of snow that may mix with or change to rain and generally diminish midday through the afternoon. We'll have highs today around 34 to 40 degrees. Tonight, we'll have a clearing trend set in. It'll be colder with a northwest to westerly breeze. We'll have lows in the 20s. You'll have to watch for possible black ice patches late. Then on Sunday, mostly sunny and a little warmer. Highs tomorrow around 40 to 46. I'm meteorologist Mike Moss in the Weather Center.
Currently at the Big O Country Studios, it's
10 o'clock. Now you can earn 1,000 points.
Corner the national pastime went on trial. We're talking baseball. Klazuski, Campanella talking baseball. The man and Bobby Fella, the Scooter, the Barber and the Nuke. They knew them all from Boston to Dubuque. especially Willie.
Carson and Terry. Welcome back to Saturday Sports Talk. Kevin Hastings along with Terry Reinhardt, Carson Dockery. Finishing up the show today. Had a fun time. Campers in Saturday Sports Talk. Thanks for everybody for listening in and watching in on YouTube. If you're watching live, say hello this morning. I'm waving at the back of the camera. I'm used to waving at the front of the camera. I'm sitting in the control room today. JP couldn't make it in. He was sick. Smoke couldn't make it in because it snowed and he was scared of the snowflakes. And then Carson drove all the way from Gastonia. I want to thank him, of course. Thank Will Boykins for calling in, Coach Tim Pruitt for calling in, and, of course, all of our other guests who like to text us behind the scenes and ask questions and point out things that we mess up, as always. Thanks
to Mitchum's Kitchen.
Yes.
Yeah.
Thanks for Mitchum's Kitchen for the biscuits this morning. Mine was awesome. Terry had a big old plate. What did you say you had again, Terry?
All I had was gravy biscuit with a side of bologna.
Oh, but it's a big old plate.
All I had. That thing was full. It might have just been two things, but it was full of those two things.
That's all I had. All right. Well, great show this morning, guys. Thanks for everything. Real quick, before the end of the show, we had some baseball news this week. Aaron Boone, the new coach of the Yankees, and then the Yankees are probably going to get Giancarlo Stanton because he turned down deals to the Giants and the Cardinals. That's
getting. I mean, that's already been reported that's it's getting finalized. And me and Sarah, we were talking about. I mean, who do they send back for Giancarlo Stanton? Because you've got at this point the Yankees outfield, without trading anybody away, Giancarlo Stanton, Aaron Judge, Jacoby Ellsbury, Clint Frazier, and Brett Gardner. That's 5 people.
One of them's DH.
And then you've still got one too many outfielders. I think Clinton Frazier's a guy who's young. He's a top 10 prospect in baseball. He's got to play. He needs playing time. Jacoby Ellsbury, I mean, he's got that massive contract that if the Yankees are going to take Stanton, they're going to take 75-80% of that contract. They have to. And the Marlins aren't going to want, if they do want to trade Ellsbury and free up that spot, he's got a $22 million. That's what he's on the books for this year.
Who's center field for the Yankees?
Ellsbury. Aaron Hicks is there, too.
Well, I mean, that guy's going to have to cover a lot of ground.
Yeah, boy.
I mean, Stanton and Judge is not the greatest feat.
Judge plays
at DH and then let the rest of them
Aaron Judge plays a pretty good right field defensively. I mean, you're 6'7". You're naturally you're going to cover a lot of ground. He's got a pretty good arm. I think if Stanton goes there, I think you got to keep Judge in right, put Stanton in left.
And hope you got a elite player in center because he's got to cover a lot of ground.
If Stanton's out there of Judge, y'all know they ain't out there to catch fly balls anyway. So they're out there
you're out there to hit fly balls.
They're going to strike out 500
there
times.
You go.
God.
It's
That's
new
exactly
baseball.
What I was
People
talking
don't
about.
care anymore, and it's crazy. You talk
Either
about
hit a home run or you strike out.
The Judge now is a strikeout, a walk, and a home run in one game.
It's softball. And they changed the ball to allow that.
And it's crazy to think about now. I mean, you've got guys who are striking out 200 times in a season, and they're not worried about it. Hank Aaron never struck out more than 90 times in a season.
Look at Pujols strikeouts.
Yeah, look at Tony Gwynn. How many times? I mean, I think Aaron Judge struck out more times this year than Gwynn did in his whole career. His whole career.
Ichiro's just like Tony Gwynn and that.
Ichiro's still playing, man. He's a free agent. Somebody's got to pick him up.
Well, the Yankees. There's another outfielder.
Yeah, well, he can cover more ground than probably Judge and Stanton.
Right, Carson, here's Albert Pujols' strikeout numbers throughout his career. 93, 69, 65, 52, 65, 50, 58, 54, 64, 76, 58, 76, 55, 71, 72, 75, 93 at 37 years old. His first year at 21, he struck out 93 times, and his last year at 37, 93 times, and it's never been worse than that. And we're talking two hitters might strike out 400 to 500 times next year.
And we didn't even talk about Ohtani going to the Angels. You're going to have Mike Trout and Shohei Ohtani on the same team, along with a top 5 defensive shortstop ever in Andrelton Simmons, who's figured out how to hit here recently.
But you also know when you got them guys out there, it's not going to be how many times they strike out.
How many times they put it over the fence.
They hit it over the wall. You're probably going to have 2 guys who could hit 55 home runs apiece.
Yeah, you're going to have 2 guys that could, like you say, hit anywhere between 100 to 120 home runs
combined. Who do you
want
to face? Who do you want to pitch to?
Who are you going to put on base for the next guy to hit a two-run home run?
Well, weren't they walking people to get the Judge in the postseason?
Yeah, well, because he
strikes out.
That's it. He's either going to strike out or he's going to hit a home run.
You don't walk. We never saw anybody walk to get to Bonds, did we?
Heck no, they walked Bonds. The first time he come up, they'd walk him in the first.
He got one pitch a game. He get one pitch a game. Much as
it's silly. It's just weird.
Well, we're sitting in here.
The how it works now, or the way that people look at the certain stat. This stat's better than this stat, or what's better. And it's just it's weird. It's hard.
Yeah, one other thing me and Carson was talking about before, we said, who would you want? Would you want Stanton, Judge, or Harper?
That's going to be the Yankees outfield in 2 years, boy.
I'm going to tell you, I told Carson, I said, there's no doubt in my mind I would take Harper over any of them other guys.
And you know who I'm taking?
Any time.
You know who I'm taking over everybody, Terry? Mike Trout.
Why don't they go ahead and trade?
That's
simple. Why don't they go ahead and trade Ellsbury for Harper?
You think the Nationals are going to let that happen? You going to give up Bryce Harper for 32-year-old, $22 million a year, Jacoby Ellsbury? Well,
would you rather have Jacoby Ellsbury
listen,
or nothing?
Me being a Braves fan, I'm perfectly happy with the Nationals getting nothing back for Bryce Harper. Perfectly happy.
Yeah, that's true.
Well, the Braves got to do some extra drafting here in the next few years.
Well, they're not going to get to. I don't know what you're talking.
That's right.
I mean, my time goes to the Angels too, and I mean, the Braves are going to be all right. They've got Ronald Acuna coming up, he's probably the best prospect the Braves had since Hayward. You got good young arms coming up. You got Lucas Sims. You got Colby Allard, Mike Soroka. I mean, there's still depth there. I mean, you're obviously going to hurt when you lose 13 prospects. And your international pool money is down to only $10,000 a year for 3 years. You're going to lose the third-round pick in this upcoming draft. But I think they got it right when they hired Alex Anthopoulos. He's a guy who was a GM for Toronto for a little while, and you saw his thumbprint on that team that made it to the ALCS. He was in L.A. with a lot of smart people, a lot of good former GMs, and the GM that he was working for. So I think the Braves they're going to be all right. I mean, Anthopoulos, he had a meeting with season ticket holders, and he said he turned down jobs with Arizona and another club. So he's thought this move through, and I think the Braves are going to go through a tough spot. You're not going to see really the impact from them losing money and the draft picks until about 4 or 5 years from now. But hopefully by then you've got the pieces are in play at that point, and you've got a lot of guys that have come up through the pipeline.
Well, I just feel sorry for Freeman and the guys
that
are legit guys, and then all of a sudden you're going to have to go through this. And this is a guy who decided, hey, I'm staying in Atlanta, and he's having to.
He's the next face. Yeah, he's the face of the franchise.
Well, I mean, do they need to trade him now?
No, don't you dare.
I mean,
don't you dare.
That's probably going to come up on trade deadline this year.
Don't listen. Andrelton was my favorite player.
Draft picks.
Andrelton was my favorite player coming up, man. He's great, and they traded him away, and that hurt me. That hurt me deep down. But if they get rid of Freddie, I will. That'll make me reevaluate some things.
I'm just saying, man. I don't know. I don't know it that well enough to make that much comment. But if you're going to lose if you think you're going to be losing for the next 3 years, not going to be draft picks the next 3 years.
You think Freeman won't stay around?
That's what I'm saying.
That's the thing. I mean, it's international pool money. It's not like a draft.
Yeah.
I mean, you're going to lose
your
out.
Program's hurt from what happened.
Oh yeah. Oh, definitely. I mean, I'm not denying that, but I think, it's not like you didn't go lose Ronald Acuna. You didn't go lose, somebody like that. I mean, it's going to hurt because Maitan was a top 5 prospect in the system. But again, he's 19, 20 years old. It's not like you're going to lose a proven guy. All these guys are prospects, and that's what you got to remember. They're anywhere from 17 to 19, 20 years old. They're not proven at all.
The best thing about going to a Braves game now, Carson, is watching the two people sit beside each other with a Panthers and a Falcons hat on, pulling for the Braves.
Yeah, there's nothing like the unifying force of the Atlanta Braves.
So there you go. Yeah, y'all at least have that.
Yeah,
bring the Panthers fans and Falcons fans together. All right, Terry, Carson, really other comments today? Real quick, Falston's Parade has been canceled for today. Falston Parade has been canceled for today. If you haven't looked outside yet, the snow is picked back up. It is fluttering everywhere. Carson, you got to get back home safe. Terry as well, myself.
Real quick, though, I saw on Twitter all the games the state championship games are on still for regular times.
I would assume that wouldn't have changed them like that. You know, they wouldn't have, as long as all the teams
Most
were there.
time out that way is rain.
Coach Pruitt said something about Mount Airy having to travel through some 8 inches of snow or something like that to get out of where they were this morning. So that one he thought may have been pushed back. So I guess not, right, Carson? So
I mean, according to the NCHSAA Twitter account, 3-7 at Duke and Carolina, 12-4 at State.
Well, I mean, I've been in at a baseball field before an American Legion game, waiting on the 1 and 3 seeds to play, and they change who the 1 and 3 seeds are. So
I'm only saying what I see.
What we know, right, Carson?
That's exactly right.
All right, Terry. Any other comments before this week? We missed anything else?
No, we got it all.
I think
Tiger
so.
came back. We skipped him.
Well, I'm gonna say something about Tiger. Tiger, I thought did okay for his first time back.
Yeah, he played a good. He played a good couple rounds.
Yeah, I mean, we didn't expect him to win. I mean, some people might have.
I think he's at 14.
He bogeyed his last hole, and I think that he would have rather had it because he would have shot like a 67. He ended up shooting like a 68 or something.
I think shooting a 60s on the PGA
That's
Tour.
exactly right. And then complaining, I think the man did. I think his worst round was his third round at 75.
Yeah.
And that's not bad. For your first time back out there competing again.
Yeah.
And one other thing about golf,
3 rounds in the 60s.
One other thing about golf, it's an individual sport, and you can only play. Like, your round has nothing to do with the guy's round. That's
no.
That's it. You have to play the course
because your shot. You never have the same. The only same shots that you have as your competitors are the 18 tee shots.
Yes.
Yep, that's exactly right.
After that, the other 50 or 60 are on you. So
you're playing the course, not the people beside you.
So to gauge him in the 60s, I think is pretty good. All right, I guess that'll wrap it back up. Coming up this week, we'll let you guys know we're supposed to be broadcasting 2 Christmas parades today. If they get rescheduled, we'll rebroadcast them. That's the Cherryville and Cat Square. We really wish that we weren't missing that and couldn't report it. Steve Johnson, mayor of Cat Square. Terry, first time in 44 years, the mayor's not doing his duties, right?
Well, I guess. Just as long as he gets that check.
Sanford today on the radio on KTC, we've got Sanford and Clemson Tigers basketball, and then we've got L.A. Lakers at Charlotte Hornets basketball tonight. Lonzo and LeVar. Is LeVar going to be in the house tonight?
God, I hope not.
I doubt he shows his face.
Do you think
to Michael Jordan?
Listen, LeVar Ball probably can't even point out Charlotte on a map.
That's very true, too. But seriously, you think he's showing his face to Michael after saying he could beat him one-on-one?
Listen, if LeVar's here, he's going to have courtside seats. And if you think that Michael wouldn't show up just to stare him down.
What if Michael just calls timeout during the middle of the game
and just
says,
halftime
show?
Oh, my God.
Halftime show,
Boy. Woo! I mean, that'll make me go buy some Jordans.
Air Jordans versus the Big Baller brand right now.
Dude, man, show. Michael would dunk on him.
He probably would.
He would. He'd post him up and dunk on him.
He would pull that last hamstring muscle he's still got left.
It'd be worth it. It would be worth it, man. I tell you.
All right, guys, have a safe and wonderful Saturday. And next week we've got high school basketball coming up Friday. Thomas Jefferson at Cherryville, East Lincoln at Lincolnton, and Stuart Kramer at the Crest Chargers, folks. Have a good weekend. And
just be careful.
And be careful out there. We'll see you next week.
Everyone would love a Christmas gift certificate to Mitchum's Kitchen in Vale. And right now, buy $50 worth of gift certificates and get a free $10 gift certificate. Give it to someone or use it for yourself. Again, buy $50 worth of gift certificates and get a free $10 gift certificate. And remember Mitchum's Kitchen in Vale for all your catering needs. No matter the size, Mitchum's Kitchen can help. And don't forget about the fried chicken on Sundays at Mitchum's Kitchen, Highway 274 at Highway 27 intersection in Vale.
Now you can earn 1,000 points for every night you stay at the Hampton Inn. It's part of the Hampton Inn's Grand Nights promotion. Your points will add up to unforgettable experiences. Find out more by visiting your nearest Hampton Inn. You'll always come back with a tale to share. Start turning points into stories worth sharing. Visit the Hampton Inn on Remount Road in Gastonia and start earning your points today.
How would you like to win $1,000 in Christmas cash? Of course you would. And you can if you register to win the $1,000 Christmas cash giveaway. Back again this year. Register with no obligation to buy at Central Drugstore downtown Bessemer City, at Carolina Hardware and Garden Center on the Reedsville Road in Lincoln, at Long Island Marine on Long Island Road in Catawba, at Full Throttle Power Sports on Indian Walk in Lowell, at Eric Johnson Auto Sales on the Bessemer City Road in Cherryville, at Carpet One Interiors on East Ozark Avenue in Gastonia, at Basic Finance Company on Highway 74 Bypass East in Shelby, at Dallas Express Pharmacy in Dallas, at Amity Finance on East Ozark Avenue in Gastonia, and in downtown Kings Mountain. The drawing will be held Friday, December 22nd at 8 a.m. on the Boss and Carolina Country. So register to win the $1,000 Christmas cash giveaway from the Boss, Carolina Country, the What's Up Shopper, and KTC Broadcasting.
I still feel 25 most of the time. I still raise a little Cain with the boys. Honky tonks and pretty women, Lord, I'm still right there with them, singing above the crowd and the noise. Sometimes I feel like Jesse James, still trying to make a name, knowing nothing's gonna change what I am. I was a young troubadour when I wrote in on a song, and I'll be an old troubadour when I'm gone. Well, the truth about a mirror is that a damned old mirror don't really tell the whole truth. It don't show what's deep inside or read between the lines, and it's really no reflection of my youth. Sometimes I feel like Jesse James, still trying to make a name, knowing nothing's gonna change what I am. I was a young troubadour when I wrote in on a song. I'll be an old troubadour when I'm gone. I was a young troubadour when I wrote in on a song, and I'll be an old troubadour when I'm gone. I'll be an old troubadour when I'm gone.
It's got a touch of the town where I grew up. Something in it them California girls love. Some people like to make the way I talk. It gets slower after 3 or 4 cold beers. It gets louder when I'm cheering on the volunteers. Folks know I'm country made. I can tell the way you hang your head. You were the real man, now you're afraid. And through your tears you look around, but there's no